Tobiasville, welcome to the Time Warner Cable High School Football Game of the Week. Tonight, it's 2-2 Garces hosting 2-2 Centennial.
Well, it should be an interesting matchup. Garces is going to have to stop the run tonight against Bakersfield High School last week. Centennial was awesome for 3 quarters, so Garces has their hands full tonight. They're going to have to stop the run if they're going to win this game.
Last year they played for the South Sport League Championship. Tonight, they're playing for pride.
Well, this is a big game. I mean, it's a short-term rivalry, if we want to call it that, but they get after each other hard. There's a huge crowd. They brought the extra bleachers in. I mean, it's a great night for football. It's getting colder, which I like. And this is going to be a heck of a game. Garces has a tremendous running game. They have 3 backs in excess that will go after Centennial tonight. They are going to have to do a good job, I think, throwing the ball tonight to have success in order to beat Centennial, who, again, is playing so well after even though they lost to Bakersfield High 21-0, they just played outstandingly. Garces, a little more up and down this year. They've looked better within their section than they have out, but their schedule is very tough, and they play for their section, so this is going to be a great matchup tonight.
It's Garces and Centennial tonight on the Time Warner Cable High School Football Game of the Week.
G-E-T, the Get Bus is the ride for me. From there to here and here to there. G-E-T goes everywhere. What can you do for cleaner air?
Ride to work with time to spare.
Yeah, you ain't seen nothing yet.
Here's what we say.
Get on the Get Bus, Get Bus, get on the Get on the Get Bus, Get Bus, get on the Get Bus, Get Bus, get on.
Coffee in the morning, get you on your way. Or something cold any time of the day. Sounds real good, what do you say? It's easy, it's fast, we're on your way. Take a fast trip to the fast trip. Something to go and something to sip at the fast trip.
Take a fast trip today and pick up an ice-cold Super Guzzler or regular Guzzler, only at Fast Trip.
Excuse me, is that tuxedo from AJ?
Let AJ's get you noticed. A Bakersfield tradition for over 25 years, specializing in Pierre Cardin, Christian Dior, Oscar de la Renta, and Calvin Klein. AJ's Tuxedo Junction, with 3 great locations to serve you.
Teaching your teenager to drive doesn't have to be like swimming with sharks. Let the professionals at Precision Driving School help. Our instructors have the expertise to teach all aspects of defensive driving that help our students gain the confidence and skills needed to pass their driving test the first time. Precision Driving School, we make driving with your teenager as relaxing as a day on the beach. Classes are forming now, so call or visit us today on the corner of 19th and Oak.
If Windows 95, Pentium 133, the Internet and gigabytes have you all confused, then you should buy your computer at Arc Technology, your local computer connection with personal service for just the right equipment at the lowest prices and service after the sale. Check this fall special.
I'm Alex Rogers, owner of Arc Technology. Come and see for yourself why we have the warehouse stores beat hands down on price and service.
Don't you buy a computer until you check with Arc Technology, 3 blocks north of Costco at the Clock Tower.
If you've had an accident and are suffering from any of these symptoms, listen to your body and call us today. I'm Dr. Rudy Herrera of Mind and Body Chiropractic. Call us at 837-1505 in Bakersfield or in Delano at 721-1506.
Good evening from Sam Tobiasville. Welcome to the Time Warner Cable High School Football Game of the Week. Tonight it's 2-2 Garces against 2-2 Centennial. The Golden Hawks have lost 2 straight to Redwood and DHS. Garces winning Preston last week over Pericles, a game in which they gained 348 yards on the ground for the first time this year. They actually ran the football.
Well, one of the things that's happening with Garces, they play such a tough schedule. They've been a little inconsistent. They hurt themselves against Auburn in turnovers late in that game, and they felt like they should have won that game. Of course, we saw them early against Bakersfield, as you can hear the Garces fans getting loud as Garces comes on the field. This is a game, I believe, tonight, who can keep their offense on the field. Centennial against DHS, as we alluded to in the pregame, did a wonderful job for 3 quarters, really getting after the drillers. Ran the ball extremely well, did everything they wanted to do except score. That was the only thing that was missing from their arsenal. We were very impressed with Centennial. They did it on both sides of the ball. But tonight, Centennial needs to establish that run and pound Garces, just like Bakersfield likes to do to the teams they play, and then wear them down in the 4th quarter. Garces cannot match up with Centennial size-wise, but on the other end, Garces needs to use their quickness against that Centennial defense, and Drew Johns must have a good night tonight throwing the ball.
Well, Centennial likes to pound the ball up the middle. They have Jared Clark behind a big offensive line. Like you said, they want to control the ball. They do play action every once in a while. Garces doesn't have to run as much as Centennial, even though they do have a wing T offense. They can pass more effectively. I would give the nod to Drew Johns over Jason Mandelares. If I'm Garces on defense, against that big Centennial offensive line, I'm going to pack it up. I'm going to force Mandelares to throw the ball. Centennial on defense, well, they want to stop the Garces run and force Johns to throw, but I think Garces is more comfortable throwing than Centennial is.
Well, there's no doubt about it. The strengths tonight, I think, will play into Garces' hands because they have better balance. I think Drew Johns has kind of had an up-and-down year so far. He's trying to find himself a little bit. Looked good last week, has had some big numbers this year, trying to find that consistency as they get ready to go into conference play. Definitely one of the top quarterbacks in the area and in the Valley. And this is just going to be one of those games where we talked about it before we went on air. We certainly don't want to see this game become a turnover type game where the team that turns the ball over gives it back to the other team, and that's how this game is won. But tonight, defensively, because both these teams are good defensively, that could be the case.
One common opponent, Garces got beat by BHS 42-0. Centennial lost to the Drillers last week, 21-0. Kick is on the way. Garces in green and gold. Fake handoff across the 20-25 and out of bounds, the Garces Rams. And A.J. Antongiovanni, their top receiver this year. A.J., who's the starting wide receiver for Garces with 12 catches, 1 touchdown. Look out for Matt Pearl, 11 catches, 3 touchdowns, and an outstanding kicker for Garces.
Right, you're going to see the wing T. Saw him earlier this year if you watched our broadcast, our opening broadcast, when Garces played Bakersfield High School. And you're going to see the wing T. And somebody told me, they said, watch Coach Finucchi tonight. He's going to pull out all the stops. I don't know what he meant by that, but we'll wait and see.
Well, Garces definitely has more diversity than Centennial, but we'll see what happens this evening. Wing T offense for the Garces Rams. Drew Johns, a quarterback. He hits that big Centennial defense. Johns rolling to his left, looking to throw. His pass too high, incomplete. Antongiovanni on the far side. Nice coverage by Centennial. 2nd and 10 for Garces.
And Garces comes right out throwing the ball, something that we talked about, that we felt they could do to the Centennial defense, and a rollout to boot, making the big defensive lineman for Centennial chase. And if that's the way they're going to look at it tonight, that's going to be a tough assignment for Centennial, although they did a pretty decent job of containing the 2 weapons that BHS has.
The great speed of BHS. Centennial wants to pound Garces. Garces wants to run Centennial wide. Tied into the right side for Garces. Mulhoff the ball carrier, tries to cut back, and he is pounded by about 4 Golden Hawks, Mike Turman and company, at the 25-yard line. They did that quite a bit against BHS. So Garces showing them the pass, coming back with a run.
Well, Turman, you're going to hear his name called a lot tonight. He is very, very busy, flies around on the field. One of the things that Centennial did so well, Mark, and you just hit the nail right on the head, is that against Bakersfield, they kept turning that speed in, turning it in, so that their linebackers and their corners and safeties could pursue. Other than, with the exception, of the first possession Bakersfield had, Centennial didn't get beat outside all night long.
3rd and 9 for Garces at their own territory. Drew Johns play action to throw, rolling to his left, sprinting out now. Nobody is open. He will run with it. Has about 4 yards and thrown down. It'll be 4th down for the Garces Rams, and a great play by Centennial and Adam Sherrill.
Yeah, Adam did a nice job of just making sure that Drew wasn't going to run with it. Then when he saw him put it down, just put the hit on him. Great coverage downfield. And, we're going to talk a lot about the Centennial defense because they are very good.
Yes.
And coming off that game against Bakersfield, you're going to see Moreno, and you're going to see, I believe it's number 24, and that's Chris Branson. They had the job of trying to contain Rodney Wright and really did a pretty decent job. And tonight, in Garces' opening series, they've done a nice job in their cover back there.
Pearl punting for Garces. It was almost blocked as it comes to Centennial at the 30-yard line. Cross to 40, stays on his feet. Nice return for the Golden Hawks, Trace Moreno, who Bobby mentioned, who does a great job at defensive back for Centennial. So they have very good field position to start their first possession, and they want to pound the ball. Of course, they have a quick running back in Jared Clark, the #1 rusher in Kern County, over 600 yards. They want to control the ball, use the clock.
Well, the numbers on him are 109 carries. He's got twice as many carries as anybody in the county. 614 yards. He averages right at 6, and he's gotten the end zone 4 times. Getting into the end zone has been a problem for the Centennial offense. Not yardage, not moving the ball, but getting into the end zone. When they get into the red zone, they've had a problem scoring. Tonight, Garces does not want to let Centennial play half a field. If they do, that big offensive line is going to be able to move the ball a lot easier. But I think Garces will try to do some different things. I'm kind of curious to see if they try to mix it up a little bit. When Bakersfield was having problems with Centennial last week, what they did to counter was they did a lot of blitzing from different positions on the field. They didn't just blitz a corner, they'd bring linebackers. Sometimes they brought their safeties up, and it seemed to confuse Centennial. And like you said earlier, we expect Garces to bring everybody up and make them throw.
I would. Jason Mandelaris, the quarterback for Centennial. Tailback is Jared Clark. Strong eye left for Centennial. They'll go with the split backs, the I formation, and a number of different formations, but they generally use the same runner. It is Jared Clark. He's very quick out of the backfield. Picks up about 5 yards, Mr. Clark, the top runner in Kern County, off the left side. They run it very effectively that way.
Yeah, they do. They run well off their tackles, inside their guards, because they're huge. We thought Bakersfield High was big, but doing our pregame last week when we were down on the sidelines, I'll tell you what, Centennial is every bit as big as Bakersfield. And Garces has some size of their own up there. They're not as physically big as Centennial. So linebackers, safeties tonight for Garces are going to play an important part of filling and getting in there to make some tackles.
Clint Tobias, the key linebacker for Garces, who also plays fullback for the Rams. Havens in motion. Mandelaris, pitch back to Clark. Eludes a tackle, gets back to the line of scrimmage. Great pursuit by Garces. And Clint Tobias in on the tackle. 3rd down and 4, 3rd and 5 for Centennial.
And I think that time they did come because Ian Carbajal came from his inside linebacker position, turned the play back in, and with the pursuit came, it was an easy tackle. Clark is because we didn't see him last week is his speed to the outside. Not only does he run well inside, but he can turn on to the outside.
Clint Tobias, Roy Bryant, and Jeff Martin, the linebackers for Garces. Down lineman Joey Martinez, Matt Alexander, guys to look out for. 3rd and 4 for Centennial, 9:02 to play in the first quarter. Clark, the ball carrier, has the first down behind a big offensive line, breaks a tackle into the open, and driven out of bounds at the 30-yard line. And a great run by Jared Clark off the left side. Once again, he eluded a tackle at the line of scrimmage. And almost
Clark is too strong for him. Straight on him, picked up a big gain.
Well, the last man brought him down at the 30-yard line of Garces territory. And Clark, for a 175-pounder, has a lot of strength and is very durable, as you mentioned. Actually, around 30 carries a game. And Mandelaris, 2 receivers wide to the right. 8:28 to play in the first quarter. Havens in motion. Russ Havens. Delay to Clark. Nice block running outside. And finally driven down by Clint Tobias. Looked like he had a chance to gain 5 or 6, and Clint came out of nowhere. Great pursuit.
Great read by Clark. Pulled him down. Great play defensively.
Well, you have to have players that make big plays, great plays like that.
Well, that's Tobias. He's their man.
Differing offenses tonight. Ball on the left hash mark. 2nd and 9 for Centennial. 7:42 to play in the first quarter. Garces with a lot of people on the line of scrimmage. Mandelaris long count, pitch back, Clark.
Defensive end Jeff Martin out there that time doing a nice job of making Clark cut back in. He did a really nice job of getting rid of his blocker. Made the play turn inside. I think he got an assist on that play. And on this initial drive for Centennial, what's happening is that Centennial has had 2 big 3rd down possessions where they have got the first down. So let's see if Garces can hold here.
Centennial with a 3rd and 6 situation. 7:03 to play. Ball on the right hash mark for Jace Mandelaris and company. 2 receivers wide to the left. Garces still stacking it up on the line. Havens in motion. Quick toss. Incomplete. The pass was wobbled out to Jared Bratcher. It'll be 4th down for Centennial. Call it 4th and 6 for the Golden Hawks.
And that's a little surprising. I think we kind of expected the run in that situation, 3rd and about 7, but that's good for Centennial because they've got to establish themselves as a passing team when they need to, not just when they have to. And again, that's something the coaches are aware that they have to throw the ball to make their run more effective because their run is tremendous. But Garces with a hold here, even if they just give up 3, that's a good possession defensively for Garces.
Jonah Long trying the field goal attempt for Centennial. He's at the 35-yard line, a 45-yard attempt. It is perfect. He blasted that one. Jonah Long.
Nice kick, nice drive. They get the 3, go on top. But more importantly for Garces, not giving up the 7 and getting their defense off the field because they don't want their defense out on that field all night long against that big Centennial offensive line.
6:42 to play in the first quarter. You're watching the high school football game of the week exclusively on Time Warner Cable, Channel 16. 45-yard field goal attempt, good by Jonah Long. And they have quite a kicker in their own right, as Garces does and Matt Furrow.
Yeah, Matt, you know, we were talking about this, and we talk about a lot of stuff before we go on the air. We constantly say that there are a lot of really good kickers in this area. Of course, Baker, and then Ethan Beck at Highland. I mean, we're just seeing a lot of tremendous athletes, kids who can do a lot of different things, and it seems like the better athletes are always kickers.
Isn't that amazing? Well, kickers are great athletes. To be an outstanding punter in college or in pro football, many of these guys have played wide receiver, defensive back. They've done other things during their younger days growing up playing the game.
And they're always a triple threat. I mean, Beck is either first or second in the county receiving, and of course Baker does it all for football. So they are tremendous athletes.
Long boots it for Centennial. Comes to Mulhofer at the 2-yard line. 5-10 straight up the middle. Nice opening. The tackle. They cross the
a little bit earlier about both these defensive clubs, and Garces in the top 15 defensively, but Centennial, I'll tell you what, they are stingy. They've only given up 346 yards on the ground this year, as to 586 in the air for a total of 932. So they're stingy. They don't give up a lot of either.
On the far side, excellent coverage by Centennial. Turman, you know, I was thinking about Mulhofer at over 300 yards in one game against Exeter. This year, only 188 yards, a nice average, but only a couple of touchdowns. They have to get him going. Mulhofer has to make some big plays for Garces.
Well, I think they're trying to mix some things up and get him the ball in different situations.
Second down inside half Mulhofer, and he is top of that line of scrimmage. And number 44, that was Turman making that hit. The prior play before that, it was Cody Hebert. So you got Hebert and Turman, 2 studs in defense, 44 and 54.
Shut the door on that,
oh,
baby.
Man.
Ooh. But you're right. The situation with Garces is they've got to get the mo-man going. He's got to have carries. Whether they hand it on to him or throw it to him, they've got to get Mo the ball. Because he is their man. He gets away. Will he throw it? He decides to run around the outside and knock down. Be about 7 yards shy of the first down. Excellent pursuit once again by Centennial. And even better coverage downfield. I mean, the Centennial DBs are doing a wonderful job of covering up down there where there's nowhere to throw. And really, John's made a smart play. Instead of making a turnover in their own territory, eat it or try to scramble and get as much as you can. But so far, both defenses are playing pretty well. Cody Hebert coming across the way to knock him out of bounds, and he is back deep for Centennial to the 35-yard line. One of the 2 return men for Pearl. Bad snap. Plenty of time. Gets it off spiral, somewhat short. Fair catch called for by Centennial. And number 24 for the Golden Hawks, Chris Branson. 5:11 to play, 3-0 Centennial there. 5-minute mark is always time to talk about our sponsors. You know that. Tonight's game is being brought to you by AJ's Tuxedo Junction, Art Technology, Fast Trip Food Stores, Total Body Chiropractic, Golden Empire Transit, and Precision Driving School. Couldn't do it without our sponsors. I don't know if some of the people on the road coming to the game tonight went to Precision Driving School, but that's another matter. The Golden Hawks with the ball first and 10, moving right to left. Gold pants, white jerseys, gold helmets, Garces in green and gold.
Jared Clark stuck after about a gain of 3 yards. It'd be 2nd and 7 or 8 for Centennial. Pounding it up the middle. They've been running very effectively to their left, this time straight up the middle.
Well, they can run basically anywhere they want. This year they've proven that because they've got the leading rusher in the county. You know, one of the things that Centennial is going to have to do is they're going to have to be careful that they don't employ a little bit more balance with their attack. I mean, I thought that was a good sign down there, although that would be a traditional run for them on their first possession. Go ahead and throw the ball, mix it up, because you know you're going to be able to run. They feel confident with that, so mix it up a little bit, make the run a little bit more valuable if you can pass the ball.
I like the fact that they passed. I just didn't care for the play they ran. 2nd down, pitch back to Clark, tries to cut back, and Garces is ready for the challenge. Number 6, with the help of a few of his friends.
The way you offset that big physical power reads, and that's what Garces is doing. They can get down the line of scrimmage, and they can gang tackle, get 1, 2, or 3 people with the ball, and you see no matter where it's at.
Oh, yeah.
He's going to get it and hit it.
He shoots the gap so well. Check out 61, Joey Martinez, 6'3", 300.
Yeah, Martinez is a big fella.
Don't invite him home to dinner. He may have a big price tag.
I only got 1 refrigerator.
3rd and 5 for Centennial. Russell Havens in motion. Clark with the ball again. It is reversed to the other side. Garces does a great job straightening out. He moves it about 5 or 6 yards. Excellent play for the Garces Rams. Number 30 for Garces.
And 73, John Claroux turned that play in, smelled it all the way, got deep penetration. And I don't know if he got the tackle, but he turned it inside. A great play. And now Centennial has a clip on the play as well. So the Garces defense getting it going a little bit here.
Ross Lane making the tackle, number 30 for Garces. As he strung it out very well in that reverse, 3:33 to play. It will be punt time for Centennial. Hebbert's back for the Golden Hawks as the Garces defense comes up with a couple of big plays.
Yes, they do. And that's what they've got to do tonight. They don't want to be on the field too long tonight. This is going to be a long, physical game.
A.J. Antongiovanni back for Garces as we're on the Garces side. The Rams are coming. Short punt, end over end. Rolls out of bounds inside the 40 at about the 37. Good field position for the Garces Rams at their own 37-yard line, where they will set up shop. 3:17 to play in the first quarter. Garces down 3-0 to Centennial.
And we talk about team offense, looking at the balance, and Garces has thrown for 746 yards this year. I'm sorry, they've rushed for 746 and they've thrown for 665, where Centennial has rushed for almost 800 yards and just thrown for 350. So the balance obviously favors Garces a little bit more. But tonight, so far, Drew Johns has been a little bit hurried on his throws. He needs to settle down just a little bit.
Remember, he struggled against BHS when he had to hurry. Stumbles out of the backfield, going left. It is a run by Drew Johns. Has about 3 or 4 yards off to the left side. He's been going left quite a bit tonight. They must be seeing something in that Centennial defense.
That's a new wrinkle that we haven't seen Garces use, that rollout. Normally, Drew will drop back, take a 3-step or 4-step drop. But that rollout, I think, and we touched on this a little bit earlier, to stretch that Centennial defense out a little bit to make them run, get those big physical linemen running and wear them out a little bit. And he's shown that he can scramble. We saw him earlier in the season. He can run with the ball. But I think they're trying to put pressure on them to make sure that they make them work the entire game.
Mulhoff for the ball carrier for Garces, the wing back. Goes wide around the outside. Has the first down, cuts back. And a big gain for Brian Mulhofer. A flag is down, though, after a gain of about 12 yards. But they may have to bring it all back.
I think that's either going to be a hold or a clip. Anytime they throw it inside of there, and it is a hold. You know, we get Mo going, and they call it back.
Yeah. Well, I was talking about, Brian Mulhofer needs to break a long one for Garces, get a 15, 20-yard run to get some confidence. And as you said, makes a nice run, but the penalty against Garces, both teams victimized here in the early going.
He and Tobias are the keys to that wing T offense. Tobias has 47 carries for 260 yards, an average of 5.5. And then Mulhofer, Mr. Mo, only 188 yards. And a lot of that might be that people are keying on him a little bit more, but I think also, too, is that Garces is experimenting with some things to try to get him the ball in different situations. Not just running the ball, but trying to throw it to him, doing some different things. So his stats are going to be down right now, but I guarantee you when it comes conference time, he'll be the man.
He has some receptions, play action. John's rolling to his right under heavy press, looking downfield. Everybody is covered. He just simply throws it away in front of the Garces bench. The guys were going deep, Antone Giovanni, and also the tight end for Garces, but excellent coverage by Centennial.
It was great coverage, but I don't know what the receivers were looking at on that play. I don't know what they were trying to run, but Centennial getting great pressure on Johns. He did a heck of a job just to elude the sack, but nobody coming back to the ball, and he just had to ditch it.
Well, Bobby's very similar to his game against BHS. He just doesn't have time to throw deep, and he's been under heavy duress every time he's tried to throw the ball tonight.
Well, that's the key with Centennial. They've got to get pressure on him, because at 6'3", you know, he can look over most defenses, and he's got a strong arm, so you got to rattle him and get to him early.
You notice he's throwing on the run, going right, going left. He hasn't set up one time. Third down, inside handle to Mulhofer, has the first down, breaks it for a nice gain of about 10 yards. Bull, number 22, trying to get past that 200-yard mark for the year.
And that time they like to run that little inside counter in that wing T. It's so effective. And he almost picked up the first down, but he was maybe about 4 or 5 yards short. And again, Centennial's defense coming up big.
They could afford to give up 10 yards in that play because of the penalty. He was farther back. But a confidence builder for Brian Mulhofer, 1:34 to play in the first quarter. Anytime you gain over 10 yards, it's going to pump you up individually. Nice hike to Matt Pearl. Beautiful punt. Turns over. Drives Centennial way back there. Bratcher gets an opening, stumbles as he gets up to the 20-yard line. Looks like he might have a chance to take it farther. Beautiful punt by Matt Pearl.
And that's the extra weapon, your special teams. Keeping Centennial deep in their own territory to make them have to go play the length of the field instead of half the field. Tremendous kick, and that's a weapon for Garces.
Garces has won the first two meetings with Centennial, shutting them out 28-0 a couple of years ago and beating them last year 24-14. In that game, Matt Pearl, I believe, had a 37-yard field goal, or somewhere close to 40 yards in that particular ball game. As you know, last year he had a bad back. He didn't play as a running back or wide receiver after the first couple of games of the year.
Well, I know they're glad to have him back healthy, because they certainly need him, and he is
They need to throw the ball on offense, too. 1:17 to play, Centennial with the ball. Jared Clark again, trying to sneak his way, but Garces has about 3 or 4 Rams there, stuffing it very well. Number of Garces Rams converging on the tackle, number 49.
And so far tonight, what Garces is doing is shooting the gaps a little bit. They're not getting up in a traditional stance, head on head. They're trying to gap a little bit, trying to slip some so that Centennial can't block them, you know, straight up and use their power. And so far, Garces has done a nice job of that, making everything come back inside where they can gang tackle.
You can see that most of the Garces defensive players are within 5 yards of the line of scrimmage. 2nd and 8 for Centennial, I formation. Mandelaris to throw it, rolling to his right, has a man open. It's complete on the far side, breaks the tackle. He'll go the distance. A flag is down as we have a touchdown for Centennial. Was there a clip on the far side?
I don't know. Who said Centennial can't throw? He looked good on that play.
It almost looked like a play action by Jason Mandelaris as he rolled to the extreme far side.
Well, what happened on that play, Mark, is that Bratcher broke his pattern. He saw the safety turn his head, and as soon as he did, he just went ahead and went long, but it's going to come back, I think.
And the safety missed the tackle after he
And
caught the ball.
we got a clip.
Yeah, the clip is right in front of the referee.
That time, Garces lost containment. When Mandelaris went to roll, the safety, when he turned his head, Bratcher saw that, went ahead and took off, and Mandelaris did a nice job of delivering the ball.
Beautiful.
The same play last week against BHS. So I don't know if they work on that, but if they do it awfully well.
Well, it was good for about 30 or 40 yards last week, their biggest offensive play of the game. And it works tonight, but unfortunately, penalties hurt you, they kill you in games. And Centennial is hurt by a major penalty here.
But they've still got great field position, and Garces dodges the bullet.
Well, Centennial's Jason Mandelaris shows he can't throw the football. Just when you think that they're not going to do it. 24 seconds to play. This is Centennial's type of ball game. 3-0, they lead it. Remember last week it was 0-0 after 3 with BHS. They have been in a number of low-scoring games this year in their 5th game of the season. I left for Centennial, 1st and 10. They're at the 45-yard line of Garces territory. Hubbard the ball carry on the cross. Big opening. 30, 20 down the sidelines. Breaks a couple of tackles. They eventually knock him out of bounds. Faked the Clark this way, went the other way, and Garces was fooled.
Garces completely fooled him on that play. The counter inside and actually went outside. They did such a great job of blocking. He just cut it to the outside. Big play, great call.
You're talking about a 220-pounder that can run the football. That's a load coming at you, too.
Well, that's just a good call. I mean, the coaches saw that that Garces was kind of slipping and gapping a little bit, and that time they just made a great call, good read, and he did a nice job of getting the ball inside the Garces 10-yard line and see if Centennial can punch it in.
Yeah, they're back in the red zone again, a place where they've had trouble scoring this year. First and goal for Centennial at the 8-yard line. Clark hit at the line of scrimmage, maybe gains about a half-yard or a yard. Garces with excellent penetration. Second and goal for Centennial, 6 seconds to play in the first quarter.
And you might wonder, why do teams struggle in that red zone area from the 20 to the goal line and then the goal line? Why do they struggle? And after we go to a break, we're going to talk about it.
After one, it is Centennial 3, Garces nothing. You're watching the high school football game of the week exclusively on Time Warner Cable, Channel 16.
If Windows 95, Pentium 133, the internet and gigabytes have you all confused, then you should buy your computer at Arc Technology, your local computer connection with personal service for just the right equipment at the lowest prices and service after the sale. Check this fall special. The hot new 6-speed CD-ROM drive, just $98. Call Arc for low prices on all RAM upgrades, including laptops and notebooks. And Arc will upgrade all Packard Bells. Don't you buy a computer until you check with Arc Technology, 3 blocks north of Costco at the Clock Tower.
Teaching your teenager to drive doesn't have to be like swimming with sharks. Let the professionals at Precision Driving School help. Our instructors have the expertise to teach all aspects of defensive driving that help our students gain the confidence and skills needed to pass their driving test the first time. Precision Driving School, we make driving with your teenager as relaxing as a day on the beach. Classes are forming now, so call or visit us today on the corner of 19th and Oak.
Coffee in the morning, get you on your way. Or something cold any time of the day. Sounds real good, what do you say? It's easy, it's fast, we're on your way. Take a fast trip to the fast trip. Something to go and something to sip at the fast trip.
Take a fast trip today and pick up an ice-cold Super Guzzler or regular Guzzler, only at Fast Trip.
Second and goal for Centennial. Keeper by Mandelaris on the fake to Clark. Goes around the outside, inside the 5 to about the 3. Clint Tobias making a tackle. Nice call by Centennial.
It was a nice call, and as I alluded to earlier, I'll finish my point after the break. One of the reasons teams have problems inside that red zone is obviously the field is shortened up a little bit, but you have a different system that you go into down there. It's more of a goal line type system, and obviously the run is the most important thing down there. It's a different blocking scheme, and sometimes it takes teams a little bit longer to get used to that, to make the adjustments, and then the defense makes their adjustments down there. So there's a lot of adjusting going on, and sometimes the consistency level causes you to have problems.
Third and goal for the Golden Hawks. Pitch back to Jared Clark to the left side. Garces strings him out as he cuts back, and I believe there might be a face masking penalty against Garces. Somebody unintentionally grabbed the helmet of Clark as they knocked him down. It was a great play defensively, but it's going to cost the Garces Rams, I believe.
Mike Black, the corner, defensive end, and coming up trying to make Clark cut back inside, reach back and grab the face mask, and that's what they're going to call. And that's not good for Garces, because that is probably going to might give Centennial a first down.
Well, it's half the distance to the goal line, and
no, it'll be a fourth down.
It'll be fourth down, half the distance to the goal line, and they should be at about the 1 yard line or 1.5. It's hard to see from where we're at. 11:09 to play in the second quarter. Garces did a great job stringing it out, but unfortunately got a piece of the helmet. Calling it third down and goal for Centennial. Clark straight up the middle, and he appears to have the touchdown. At least Centennial thinks so.
Nope,
the refs are saying it is fourth down, just shy of the goal line. Fourth and goal for Centennial.
And if you're Centennial, you got to get over the hump. You've got to get down there and you've got to score, because psychologically it's eating at you. You don't talk about it, but you know you've got to get in here. And for Garces, I mean, we know what's at stake for Garces. They've got to have a stand here. They don't want to go down 10-0.
And Centennial calls a timeout. Fourth and goal inside the 1 with 10:41 to play in the second quarter of a game of which they have dominated possession time, 3-0 lead. They'd like to add another 6 or 7 points, and they're playing their style of ball tonight.
Oh, no doubt about it. They just want to get after you. They've shown the pass a little bit more tonight. They've been effective with it. Mandelaris, as like Johns on the Garces offense, been rolling out a little bit more, showing some of his athleticism a little bit, getting outside.
2 key plays.
Right.
When he faked into the middle, rolled out right, hit the receiver Long before the penalty, and then this last time they faked the dive to Jared Clark. He ran around the outside, got the ball inside the 5. So Mandelaris made 2 big plays for Centennial.
Well, the thing is, Garces, and we talked about this earlier, you know, Garces does not want the defense out on the field where they're going to get beat on. Their offense is going to have to do something. Right. So far, it's been 3 and out in 3 series, and they're going to have to get something going.
They're just getting dominated by the Centennial defensive line.
Right now they are. 2 Johns just has to settle down, and I think if they start to throw a little bit shorter action, some quick hitters, it might help him relax.
Okay, 4th and goal for Centennial at the Garces 1-yard line here in the 2nd quarter. Mandelaris at quarterback. Long count. Gives it up the middle. Centennial thinks they have a score. But what did the officials say?
Kind of waded through the bodies out there, and they signaled touchdown. It didn't look like he got in. We couldn't tell.
We can't tell. One official signaled touchdown. The other one didn't seem like he knew what was going on.
But a heck of an effort by that Garces defense down there, but just too much.
Too much power, too much strength. As Centennial scores their first touchdown of the night. And they lead at 9-0, getting ready for the PAT by Long, who kicked a 45-yard field goal in the first quarter.
The monkey is in the cage.
The monkey's in the cage.
He's off their back, and he's in the cage. They scored in the red zone. That is an important play right there for Centennial psychologically. Not just because this is a big game, but because of their problems in scoring down in there. And those of you that were with us last week saw them take the ball right away on Baker so high in their first possession, drive all the way down the field, and fumble inside the 5.
Right.
So this is an important thing for them.
And that was a key turnover in a low-scoring game. No score for the first 3. They need to get on the board with something there and didn't come up with anything.
So far, it's been all Centennial and what they've wanted to do, although Garces has showed signs defensively of doing some good things, but they cannot continue to have their defense out there. Their offense is going to have to be consistent tonight to get something going.
With the way this game's going, Garces is going to be very tired in the second half like they were against BHS, their defense. Like you said, their offense has to move the ball, and they have to get some possession of it and score some points. Long with a PAT. It's blocked by Mohopper. So a big defensive play for Garces. Maybe that will pump them up.
Well, if Mohopper can't do it, running the ball or catching it, he's going to do everything.
Oh, Rodney Wright, BHS.
He's going to do it all.
Remember, Wright has blocked 2 field goal attempts this year.
Well, the Mo man can do it all. There's not many things on a football field he won't do. Plays hard all the time. You got to love him. And he's going to get after it. He's trying to pump his team up. And in this kind of a game, that's a big play.
That is, only down by 9 points, 10:35 to play in the second quarter. Garces needs an extended drive coming up here, and they need some points. But they haven't been able to do anything with that Centennial defensive front 7, as they've been stuffed and numerous times back and forth, dominating the line of scrimmage, forcing Johns. If he doesn't roll to his left, they're forcing him to roll to his right. He's throwing under heavy duress. The Garces receivers are going quite far downfield. I like to see some short passes to the tight end. Where's Matt Pearl offensively?
Well,
get him into the ball game.
Coming into this game, A.J. Anton Giovanni had 12 catches for 245 yards. He's averaging 20 yards a catch, so he's a big play guy. But again, Garces has to just kind of relax a little bit, get a drive going, mix the pass with the run, and you know, they just got to get something going, because if they don't, Centennial's going to continue to move the ball down the field and put pressure on their offense. Garces' defense has been out there too much in this first half.
Well, against BHS, Garces was down 14-0 after one half, but were blown away in the second half. And they do have trouble against physical teams. Line drive punt comes to Anton Giovanni, up to about the 20-yard line, falls forward, fumble, and it will be Centennial's ball. A major turnover by Garces. Centennial with a 9-0 lead and a chance to get more.
Every time you're in a big game, you must take care of the football. You got to take care of the football. Now you've given Centennial the ball right back after they've driven down the field on you and scored, and that's a backbreaker right there.
Well, as you know, Bobby, Garces had 3 turnovers in the second half against Arvin, 2 interceptions, 1 fumble. That play, I don't think he even got hit. I think he just stumbled forward. And like you said, after the other team scores, you can't turn it over. This happened last year. Garces kicked out to Centennial, and they fumbled the ball inside the 25, so a different situation from one year to the next.
Well, you got to take advantage of opportunities, and Centennial, I'm sure, is licking their chops right now.
10:28 to play, full house backfield for Centennial. Ball given to a big man at the 15, 10-yard line around the outside. They finally throw him out of bounds inside the 5. Wow, Garces in a heap of trouble. Adam Sherrill, the ball carrier.
That's the same play that they ran before. They ran the counter. They just ran it to the other side, the short side of the field. And Sherrill, who has good speed for a big man, I don't know if people remember this, but last year at Community Christian High School, Sherrill was in the top 10 in rushing in the county, so he can run the football. You've been seeing him mostly at inside linebacker, but he can play offense, showing his versatility.
He's 5'9", 200. They're trying to take away from the stunning of Garces by running the counters. Here's first and goal from the 2 for Centennial. 10:20 to play. Jared Clark out the right side, follows the ball. Tobias had a chance to pick it up, but Centennial falls on it inside the 10 at the 9-yard line. Clint stripped him of the ball and tried to dive for it, but the Golden Hawks were quicker to the ball.
Well, so far it's going all right for Centennial, because that was a big opportunity for Garces right there to put it into that. But they don't pick the football up, and Centennial's drive stays alive. You know, in games, in big games, you got to make those kinds of plays.
Right.
You got to make those kinds of plays. You've got to get to the football. Some nights it's your night, though, and it just works out that way. I'm sure Garces is hoping that's not the case.
Well, both teams are 2-2 coming in. Garces' defense has been on the field the majority of the game tonight, and that is not a good sign for them. 9:37 to play. Second and goal from the 8 for Centennial. Mandelaris flats, rolling to his right under heavy pressure, throws it incomplete to Havens. Excellent pressure by number 30 for Garces, Ross Lane.
Ross Lane coming in from his linebacker position that time, and we got a flag down again. It's getting a little sloppy. We've had a couple of fumbles. We've had some penalties.
Illegal receiver downfield for Centennial. Lane has made 2 outstanding stops in this game. Well, that was a pressure. The other one was a stop behind the line of scrimmage, so he is putting pressure on the quarterback. As the Garces defense has to rise to the challenge.
Well, Centennial doesn't want to shoot themselves in the foot here. They got a golden opportunity to score down in that red zone again.
No red zone.
But they've got to take advantage of this opportunity, because going up 16-0 at this point really puts Garces in a big hole. 2 touchdowns down instead of just 1. So they want to make this opportunity count.
Second down situation for Centennial. The ball's at the 13-yard line. Mandelaris and company behind a big offensive line. Clark, tailback. He's going to throw it. Nice protection. Throws it over the middle, complete to Clark. Close to the goal line. Of course, he put his knee down. You can't get up. Looks like the ball's at about the 2-yard line, 2 or 3-yard line.
Is that Stubbe or Clark? Might have been Stubbe that time.
Stubbe is, what, is he 23 or 43?
I think he's 43.
That's Stubbe. Andrew Stubbe. Jan's son, who is a junior.
Centennial down there again, knocking on the door, throwing the football.
They must have been listening to us.
They knew they had to work on these.
Well, they knew we were half right.
Well, they've got to improve their, their ability to throw the football. They know that.
And they have improved it.
Still left on their schedule is Foothill.
Yeah.
And you got to have balance when you go to play those guys. I mean, Centennial's had one tough preseason schedule, and so has Garces in their own right. Playing Bakersfield High, playing Centennial, playing San Joaquin Memorial, although they're a little down. Both these teams don't back down from anybody. They're going to go play you. But if you're going to win your conference, you got to have balance. And that I like what I see in Centennial tonight. Coming out, maybe taking a few chances down here throwing the football. But again, they're feeling comfortable because right now they're controlling the game from the offensive end.
Yes, they are 3rd and goal from the 3 for Centennial. 9:05 to play in the first half. They have dominated this game from the outset, and their size and strength has really been a problem for Garces. But after they scored their initial touchdown, the fumble by Garces really set them up in great position inside the red zone, so they have a chance to add even more to it.
Well, for as long as Garces has been out on the field defensively, 9 points is kind of a small miracle at this point.
They may need you and I to go out there and play defense in the second half.
Well, Centennial would score too many points that way, at least if I was out there.
And the Centennial Golden Hawks come up to the line of scrimmage. 3rd and goal from the 3. 2 receivers to the right. High formation for the Golden Hawks. Mandelaris can long count. Tobias taking a stunt. Roll out for Mandelaris. Wide open end zone. Touchdown for Centennial. To Nick Echeverry. Normally the fullback ran the ball about 5 times last week. Nobody near him.
Well, Echeverry came out of the backfield on a play action. The linebacker came up. He was wide open. Hey, that's very nice play calling, passing-wise, thinking pass.
Very nice play calling and great execution for Centennial tonight on the pass play.
Very nice execution. I mean, Mandelaris did a nice job disguising that. Showed the ball, rolled out, wide open. And Centennial has looked good throwing the ball and running the ball tonight. They've basically done whatever they want so far in this first half. And Garces on offense, they've got to get something going.
Well, I'll tell you what, Jason Mandelaris has looked excellent tonight on the play action. His execution has been flawless, and definitely, well, I haven't seen him play 5 games, but one of his better games he's played this year is he's showing a lot of poise and composure.
They're going for 2.
50-0, the Golden Hawks going for 2. Hebron in motion. Mandelaris rushed heavily, goes to his left. Will he try to run it around the left side to the 5? Inside the flag, 2 points for Centennial. Jason Mandelaris showing some speed that time, getting away from the Rams.
So maybe he said, hey, you know, last week was a fluke, that one completion stuff. I'm not doing that anymore. I'm going to show my stuff. He's up, big fella. You got a second half. Woo. He's getting after, but Centennial looking extremely good offensively. More balanced than we've seen them have, throwing the football well, and their play calling has been excellent. They're well prepared. The key for Garces so far, in the fact that they are down 17-0, is that they're not doing anything offensively. They've got to get their offense going.
Well, I gave Garces the edge at quarterbacks with Johns and Mandelaris. Johns have been rushed heavily tonight, but Mandelaris has been the man. You look at the offensive line for Centennial, they've opened up big holes. The defense has been solid, but he's making the big plays tonight. He's showing a lot of confidence.
Well, one of the things he did do last week was he did show good judgment. He only threw an interception, but it really didn't hurt his team. And he had lots of opportunities to throw the football into a crowd, and he didn't do it. And he didn't hurt his team. This week he shows more maturity, coming out, making plays, and, you know, showing, like we talked about earlier, showing his athleticism a little bit and rolling out and getting that 2-point conversion.
Remember last week on one particular run, he got around the outside, showed some speed against that DHS defensive backfield. This time, he was almost caught in the backfield, went to his left, and eluded about 3 or 4 Garces Rams as he went inside the flag. So he definitely has some speed. Long kickoff into the end zone. It'll be 1st and 10 for Garces at their own 20-yard line. Matt Pearl, the deep man. The Garces Rams need to get something cooking tonight.
Yeah, they better do something at the 9-minute mark in the second quarter, because I'll tell you what, 17-0 to Centennial with the time of possession. Huge. The meter is all the way over for Centennial.
Critical turnover by Garces on the kickoff. After Centennial scored, they turned the ball over, and Centennial takes advantage of it, and that's just a major mistake. We've
talked about this Garces team being a little up and down at times this year, and they've showed that so far tonight offensively. Not as consistent as they would like to be.
Johns on the keeper, has a first down, 10 yards more, little stutter step, goes out of bounds on the far side, across the 42, about the 44. John says, I'm going to do it myself. He can't show me up.
Both quarterbacks running the ball well tonight, showing their athleticism, getting outside.
It's like Roger Clemens against Dave Stewart.
We don't normally see Garces run the option out of their wing tee like a Clovis Westwood, but that time they ran the reverse option to the short side of the field, and I think they kind of surprised Centennial. Great job of blocking up front, and they got a little bit of momentum going.
Remember, they've been running to the left quite a bit tonight, Garces. Drew Johns on the keeper. Goes to the outside now, nice cutback. And he has another first down. 2 consecutive first downs for Drew Johns as the Garces Rams trying to get something going.
Well, they don't have a choice at this point. They got to get something going.
They better get something going.
So they run the option to the open side of the field, and actually could have pitched the ball and got the same result. They didn't do a nice job of blocking up front to be able to make that decision, and a nice job of ball handling on his part. He did a really nice job.
He has long legs, kind of runs like a gazelle. He's going faster than you think that he is.
Yeah, I'm sure Coach Finucci wants him to put that ball away, though. He's been palming that football like a basketball.
You know, he's 6'3", and the Garces running backs are 5'8" and 5'10", respectively. Mulhofer on the rollout. Gets a pitch out around the outside. Line of scrimmage at about a 3-yard gain on the far side by Brian Mulhofer. Centennial strings it out very well. And the Golden Hawks are good at that type of play. And we saw them last week against DHS. They didn't get beat with the run, not up the middle or around the outside. They got beat with the pass late in the game.
Well, one of the things Centennial will do tonight is that their linebackers will get after you. They pursue down the line really well, and then they hit you. They don't just tackle you. They physically pound you. And so, but Garces is doing some good things on this drive. They're kind of stretching them out a little bit, making them work.
The inside handout to Mulhofer up the middle. He looked like he had a chance to gain more, but Centennial closes very, very quickly after a short gain.
One of the things that happens at this point in the season, when you're into Game 4, Game 5, teams have had an opportunity to scout you a little bit and prepare. So what happens is your execution must surpass that, because you know teams have seen you. They're going to get a little bit of your tendencies. They're going to kind of know what's coming. So your execution has to be better than their preparation.
And Centennial's preparation has been very good tonight. In fact, they prepared well for BHS last week.
Oh, they were
just got beat by the pass late in the game, I think, when they got a little tired. They seem to smell out a lot of plays before they even happen. 7 minutes to play in the first half. Garces with the ball. John's play action, looking downfield. Protection breaks down. Now he comes back to his right under heavy pursuit. A block from behind. There will be a penalty against Garces as John throws in a Muhlhoffer. Complete inside the 20-yard line, but I don't believe it's going to count.
No, it's not. It was fun to watch.
It was fun to watch.
But we had a clip back here as one of the Garces linemen came back to protect his quarterback. Muhlhoffer finally broke his pattern, came back, but it's going to come back.
Good call. Seeley's was one they laid a block on, and I saw it coming the whole way, and I was hoping he wouldn't come up there and hit it from behind.
Actually, he really didn't need to, but they're taught to come back and block. And from his angle, he probably thought he had a good crack back on him, but that hurts. That's a field position play right there for Garces. If you get rid of the ball and throw it away, you don't lose 20 yards. So this really hurts their drive.
I'll tell you one thing, the Garces receivers have had a lot of trouble getting open tonight.
Well, what we might see in the second half, we don't know, we're just guessing, is more short stuff.
I think they are throwing definitely too long a pattern.
Maybe Muhlhoffer in the flat, maybe trying to do some things like that because Centennial is getting a lot of pressure on him and forcing him to throw and roll out of the pocket quite a bit.
3rd and 43, ball given to Clint Tobias. Can you believe that, 3rd and 43?
Well,
gain of about 6 or 7.
At this point, though, you don't want to make any mistakes down there. You definitely don't want a turnover. You want to kick the ball out of there and play field position, and I think that's a smart call because you're already down 17-0.
And the Garces defense will have to be on the field once again.
But play the field position. Kick the ball out of there, make Centennial go the length of the field, play the odds. I mean, be safe.
And they have to put up with that pounding offensive line of Centennial. The Golden Hawks dominating the game on both sides of the ball. Matt Pearl with a kick. Off the right side of his foot, his poorest one of the night. And as Garces is down 17-0, they couldn't afford that. Garces has a turnover on a kickoff and a poor punt by Pearl. And Centennial doing what they want to do. Great field position, 17-0 lead. Plenty of time to score again.
So if you're a Centennial fan, you definitely want to tape of tonight's game, right?
Yes.
You got to have one. So if you'd like to get a video tape of tonight's game, you can give us a call at Time Warner Productions at 322-1941. They're only $15.95, and of course, you get Mark and Bobby on the air live, working with you, calling the game. So if you're a Centennial fan or a Garces fan, give us a call at 322-1941. Pick up a copy of tonight's game.
Well, Centennial with the ball just inside Garces' territory at the 48-yard line with 5:43 to play in the first half. Flag is down, ball out here to the wide receiver, gets away from one man, and thrown out of bounds at the Garces 45.
And that's Chuck Jackson, 83 out there. We haven't called his number.
That's the second pass I think that's been thrown to him, the same type of play.
We didn't see him last week either, at least not catch a ball. Didn't call his name, and so Centennial gets a motion penalty. And if you're Garces right here, what you'd like to do is, what you would really love to have is a turnover. But Centennial not doing that tonight. They did fumble, but they got it back. But you got 5 minutes left in this second quarter. Field position right now would be nice if you could get a turnover or make Centennial go 3 and out, kick, get it back. Because really, Garces did have a little bit of momentum until they hurt themselves on the clip.
I'd say those penalties can kill you in a game, especially when you come up with a big play.
But it's execution.
Execution.
It comes back to execution.
Of course, they had the fumbled kickoff. The punt was short but not bad, and then the clip on that play. Centennial's had a few penalties, but they've been able to overcome them as Garces helped them out for their second touchdown, 17-0. Mandelaris on a draw to Hebert. Bad handoff, he fumbles it. And he's in the backfield for a major loss. So, but like you said, the good teams have to come up with those turnovers.
Well,
once again, a fumble on the ground, and Garces is not quite there.
Well, that ball was a basketball that time. I think it rounded up and it bounced right back up to him.
Getting the bounces, like you said.
Right. Well, so far in this first half, Centennial's been very, very fortunate that they haven't given the ball right back to Garces.
Remember when Clark was stripped inside the 10-yard line? Tobias had a chance to get it, couldn't quite get there. And then he eventually scored. 4:40 to play in the first half. Centennial with a 17-0 lead. On the left hash mark, moving left to right. I formation, they want to pound it. Play action, they're throwing again. Mandelaris passes blocked. And the Garces defensive line with our hands up, number 55.
That was Carbajal again, doing a nice job.
Carbajal.
You know, we've talked about defensive linemen and defensive ends before, but you know what they teach is if you don't get penetration, get your hands up. He did a nice job that time and knocked it down.
The Golden Hawks are throwing more tonight than they have in any one game this year.
Well, it's working so far.
Yeah.
You can tell they've been working on it. There's no doubt about that. And this offensive line for Centennial can block people on the run, so you know they can block people on the pass. Although pass blocking, like we talked about before, is a different art. It's a little bit different art. There's more movement with your feet, and you got to be real good with your hands.
Kicked in the left corner for Garces. Havens in motion for Centennial. Third down. Pitch back to Clark. Looking for an opening. Hit and drop. Couple of Garces Rams there. Number 49 and number 48. Lane is one of them.
Jeff Martin, 49, coming out
the linebacker
to ride him down on that play, getting a little piggyback there. But
good sandwich job.
This is exactly what Garces wanted. They just wanted a quick 3 and out, get the ball back. There's going to be 4 minutes left when they get the ball. They'll have decent field position. Still got an opportunity to take the momentum into halftime.
A.J. Antonjevani deep for Garces. Standing at his 25-yard line. Timeout, Garces Rams. 17-0 Centennial.
You know, when you look at the conference standing in the Southwest Yosemite League, you've got Centennial at 2-2. You got South at 1-3, and that's a pretty good South team at 1-3. Their schedule's been tough. You got Stockdale at 1-3, North at 0-4, throwing the ball like crazy. And then you got West at 0-4. So Centennial, definitely the front runner right there. But that South High game is going to be interesting because you got a contrasting styles.
Remember last year, Centennial came from behind to beat South 41-38. South has a great quarterback, but they've lost quite a bit around him.
Well, they lost Rodney Wright.
And they lost some linemen.
And they graduated some people.
Yeah, they lost some speed.
In the Southeast, you've got surprising Arbit at 4-0, and of course Bakersfield at 4-0, Foothill at 4-0, East at 3-1, and Highland at 3-1. So the strength of the league, no doubt about it, would be in favor of the Southeast Yosemite League. That's going to be a dogfight. So we've got 3 teams that are undefeated, 2 with only 1 loss, and that Highland team, Jeff Dover last week, unloading 12 of 17.
Watch out.
350 yards and 4 touchdowns. He was unbelievable.
He was on fire, as they would say. 3:58 to play. Hebert to do the punting for Centennial at his own 28-yard line. Antonjevani deep for Garces. A low kick, spiral to Antonjevani. Takes it at the 20-yard line. No blocks in front of him, and he goes down in a hurry. Great coverage by Centennial. Number 32 making the tackle for the Golden Hawks, Nick Echeverry.
When we look at the South Sequoia League with Garces, Tehachapi, Wasco, Ridgeview, Shafter, and Taft, there's no question about it. Garces is the class of that league.
But I think Tehachapi will challenge them.
Tehachapi will challenge them, but it's going to be awfully tough to come here and beat Garces on this field because that's going to be the big game. And I'm not saying the rest of those teams. Wasco team is an improved team too, and Ridgeview has some dangerous athletes on that club.
Well, they're improving the Ridgeview team. As you said, they have some good young talent. Rivera is coming on as a quarterback. He's had 2 big games back-to-back.
Well, Brad Harris, the offensive coordinator at Ridgeview, is a good friend of mine, and Brad spent a lot of time when he was at Highland with Jeff Dover in helping him become the quarterback that he is. And Brad's slowly kind of molding this young quarterback, and game by game he gets better and better, and he's had some decent numbers this year.
Yeah, and Nick Ray is an outstanding player for them. They will play Garces next week, I believe, here.
It's going to be a fun game.
3:19 to play in the first half. The Rams are down 17-0 to Centennial. John throws it. It is partially blocked, incomplete to Matt Pearl. It was partially blocked at the line of scrimmage.
You get the same kind of feeling with last week with the BHS Centennial game as you do with this Garces Centennial game with Garces and Bakersfield. It's like Garces just not there. Like they're not really getting themselves into the game. That ball should have been caught, tipped or not. Yeah. It's a catchable ball.
Didn't really go after it.
No, he didn't. It's like they're down, and already they're kind of, you don't see the same motivation in this Garces team that we're used to seeing.
Well, Garces doesn't have the same confidence in their offense as they have in past years. You're down only 17-0 in the first half. There's no reason to think that you're out of the game.
Lots of time left.
You know, you play 4 quarters, not 2 or 1.5. John's rolling to his right. He has no blockers in front of him, tries to come to the other side, and is hit and dropped. Their offense has been in somewhat of a state of confusion tonight. Those kind of plays are not going to do much out there in the field unless you're trying to run out the clock and you're ahead in the game.
Well, we would say that it's because they're seeing a bigger defensive unit out there, an offensive unit in Centennial, but Bakersfield High every bit as big. So they have had this kind of competition before in front of them.
Garces just cannot move the ball.
Although Bakersfield got after him really good in that first game, so they just got to make some. They got to make some adjustments and execute on the offensive end.
Punt over the head of Pearl, knocks it down, then tries to kick it. It is partially blocked, and Centennial picks it up. at about the 15-yard line, but a flag is down.
I thought he had time to pick it up and kick it, it looked like to me, but maybe not. I don't know. Maybe in his judgment, he didn't think he had time.
Well, I would do in that kind of a situation, the ball's away from me. If I'm Matt Pearl, I'm going to run with the ball and try to kick it on the run, not just stand there and try to kick it when it's on the ground.
Well,
if you're an athlete like that and you can run, you should be able to get away from the defensive man coming at you.
Well, right now, all Garces wants to do is just forget this first half, go in at halftime, only 17 down. But right now, they got a tough assignment with 2:29 left in the second quarter, and Centennial knocking on the back door again.
Well, Bobby, Garces is making fundamental mistakes. That's the second bad snap to the punter tonight. This is game number 5. Now, granted, maybe he should have got the ball away, but that's the second turnover inside the 20-yard line.
Well,
you can't just give the game away.
Well, I said this earlier, and I'm going to say it again. You have to execute. If you're going to beat people, you got to execute.
2:29 to play in the first half. Centennial with the ball, play action. Hever hitting the backfoot, breaks that tackle, driven down at the line of scrimmage.
Carvajal has played himself a good first half defensively. He's made some nice reads. He came inside and put a hat on, and that time made him do a 360 until his partners could get there and wrap up. Garces, crucial series right here for them. They cannot allow Centennial to get 7.
Well, their defense has been on their heels this entire first half. And like you said, Centennial has dominated the game on both sides of the ball, and they have shortened the field. Twice they've actually received the ball inside the 20-yard line. 1:50 to play in the first half. Centennial trying to add to that 17-0 lead. Mandelares to throw. Protection breaks down, throws it over the middle, incomplete. Stubbe, the intended receiver, on the post pattern, incomplete.
Nick Flores on the coverage, had good coverage that time. Not a bad throw. Again, I like the play calling. A deep drop, you got plenty of room. What they tried to do that time was a little crossing pattern, and it's a good call. You're not going to hurt yourself in that situation. He actually threw the ball where he was supposed to.
Good throw.
Throw the ball high. If you can't get a completion, just throw it away. Throw the ball high. If the receiver makes a good play, it's a touchdown. If not, incomplete pass.
Well, Mandelares has showed a lot of composure tonight and making the right decisions. They've been executing, also getting some breaks, but forcing those breaks too.
Well, Centennial's playing with a lot of confidence after last week against BHS, the way they played.
Mandelares on a draw play to Jared Clark to the 15-10. Look at that speed to the 5. It's a touchdown for the Golden Hawks.
And Garces completely overran that play, got fooled on it, I think, and just overran it. Good blocking up front, and Clark showing why he leads the county in scoring, because he kind of turned on the Jets just a little bit there, enough to get into the end zone. And it's been all Centennial.
Yes, it definitely has been tonight. Garces tries to rush to the passer. They get burned on the play on the draw. And, you know, they're trying to stop the run tonight. Then Mandelares has been throwing more effectively than he has the entire year, so Centennial doing it both ways.
Bad news for the rest of the Southwest Yosemite League. As well as Centennial can run it, now they're starting to show that they can throw it. So now their running game will just triple off of that. So Centennial getting after it tonight in the first half.
1:36 to play in the second quarter. Centennial 24, Garces nothing. You're watching the high school football game of the week exclusively on Time Warner Cable, Channel 16.
Get on the get. Geo, go. Get ready, set. For a whole month of price that lasts, all you gotta do is get a flash pass.
The Get Bus is so easy to do.
I catch up on my reading too.
Yeah, you ain't seen nothing yet.
Here's what we say.
Get on the get.
Get on the get bus. Get bus. Get on. Get on the get. Get on the get bus. Get bus. Get on. Get on the get. Get on the get bus. Get bus. Get on.
If you've had an accident and are suffering from any of these symptoms, listen to your body and call us today. I'm Dr. Rudy Herrera of Mind and Body Chiropractic. Call us at 837-1505 in Bakersfield or in Delano at 721-1506.
A 24-0 lead for the Golden Hawks over Garces in the waning stages of the second quarter. Centennial has taken advantage of 2 turnovers by Garces deep in their own territory, where they have dominated this ball game.
I'm very surprised with the first half of this game, very surprised. I thought this would be a lot closer game, and right now Garces is getting their hats handed to them. And they're going to have to figure out something after halftime and come out and make the necessary adjustments. But I think one of the things they're just going to have to do is execute. They did a poor job in the first half of executing, and Centennial is just getting after them.
Deep kick comes to Matt Pearl to the 5, 10-yard line, 15. Has an opening. Good move, 30, 40, hit and drop. Nice return. He's actually up to about the 37-yard line. Matt Pearl on a return for Garces.
And Garces is going to have their playmakers make plays in the second half. Whether it's by the run or by the pass, they're going to have to get the ball out to their playmakers, and they're going to have to make plays. Because if Centennial has time of possession in the second half, you know, it's just like we talk about with BHS, the good running teams, it's all about time of possession and wearing you down.
This Garces team is not playing with the same passion and fire that they had last year when they won at Centennial in the South Florida League Championship game. The tables were turned, so to speak. Garces came out and stuck Centennial, created some turnovers, and a totally different game. That was homecoming for Centennial. I thought that the Golden Hawks overlooked Garces last year. Maybe they were a little too overconfident going into that game. They were undefeated. But Garces, as you're looking to play tonight, I don't think their head has really been in the ball game. They haven't executed. And the fact is they simply cannot move the ball on Centennial, but the critical mistakes they've made have helped add to the score.
Well, everything they've tried to do, with the exception of a few counters and a couple of great plays by Drew Johns on his own, showing his athleticism, hasn't worked tonight. I mean, Centennial's done a nice job stretching everything out. They've given up nothing in the wing tee up the middle to the outside. They've kind of nullified any running by Tobias in the low man. And so basically, Drew Johns has been kind of running around scrambling a lot, trying to create plays. And it's really, I think, kind of thrown them off. The deep penetration by Centennial's front five has caused Johns not to be able to set up and throw. They put pressure on him every time, although, like we said, he's made some good plays. But no consistency to the offense. And so far, Centennial has allowed Garces to do nothing that they wanted to do in the first half.
I guess there's been quite a difference in competition from last week to this week for Garces, paying Pericles last week, getting 358 yards, and then tonight. What a difference a week makes.
But you've seen the #1 ranked team in Bakersfield High School. You've played them. So you should have some understanding of what you're going to see in these guys, as well as they played the Drillers last week. So, you know, if the excuse factor doesn't become a part of this game, you got to play.
Pearl wide to the left for Garces. 1:30 to play in the first half, down 24-0. Tobias with the inside handoff, has an opening, first down, across the 45, stays on his feet, breaks the tackle, another tackle, and Clint Tobias is to the 34-yard line, and he is pumped up. He's talking out there. He says, bring him on.
Well, we talked about that their big play guys are going to have to make plays. Tobias, Mohawk, Pearl, those guys got to make plays. And that's exactly what he just did. They could be coming a better time, too. They need something before they go into halftime.
And they need some points. Inside hand of Clint Tobias, running hard. Another first down. Stays on his feet to about the 20-yard line, inside the 20. But a fumble, and Centennial says they have it. Clint Tobias running hard, lunging forward for extra yardage, and the ball came loose.
Well, he was dragging one guy with him, and I think as he slipped the tackle, the defender came down on the ball and knocked it out. Right, but a great run by him. And I'll tell you what, it's going right for one team, and it ain't going right for the other.
When Centennial's fumbled the ball, they've been able to pounce on it. When Garces does it, the Golden Hawks are right there.
But that's
very alert defensively.
But that's a good possession for Garces, though. They got some momentum going there, and they ran right straight at Centennial that time, something they hadn't been able to do in their prior probably 8 possessions.
But the question is, does Garces gain confidence from that because of the fact they didn't score? You know,
well,
for the second half.
At this point, you gain confidence from any time you move the football in this first half.
1:14 to play. Jared Clark with the ball. Gains about 5 yards off that right side of the big offensive line. And his linemen are still blocking 10 yards downfield. Got some big boys in front of him for Centennial. And they don't stop hitting. Randy Abernathy, 6'5", 295, blocking 15 yards downfield. He wants to hit somebody in green and gold.
Well, I'm sure he's hit a few guys if he's that far downfield. Just keeps knocking over the pins. Like a bowling ball.
But they have really gotten after it tonight, Centennial. They want this game after losing the first 2 of this young series to Garces. In fact, last year in the South Florida League Championship game, Centennial dominating tonight. Mandelare's thrown to the left side. Single coverage on Jackson. Incomplete. In Garces territory to 40-yard line. Single coverage for the Rams.
Well, Mr. Mandelares is doing a nice job tonight throwing the ball. Great protection, first of all, by the offensive line. And he had all day to throw that, and he threw a perfect ball. Coverage was excellent. Flores got the receiver to the outside. The ball had to be thrown perfect. The receiver had to make a better catch. I believe that was Jackson, 83, but good coverage. That was a good throw. I'm impressed with Mandelares.
He's looking extremely good
He has improved in 1 week from what we saw last week. Of course, against Bakersfield, it's a little bit different pressure, but he looks really good tonight.
Now, any quarterback looks great under heavy pressure, not even in the pros. Clark running to the left side, dragged down, and a late flag comes. I don't know if that would be a face mask. That's a hold against Centennial. Blaine and company in on the tackle for Garces. It'll be a penalty against the Golden Hawks. 26 seconds left in the first half. Centennial 24, Garces nothing.
And if you look at the stats in this game, talking about how well Centennial's thrown the ball so far, Garces has only given up 421 yards passing. So they've proven that they can defend the pass. Although, you know, Bakersfield High threw the ball well against them, although they didn't throw it a lot. What they did throw it, they had some big plays. But Garces can defend the pass. I think tonight it's been the combination of Centennial's run and pass, keeping Garces off balance. It's made the difference, and then Garces hurting themselves with turnovers.
And we thought that Garces was a diversified team that could run and pass the ball more effectively. It has been, the other has been true. Centennial has been more diverse than Garces tonight. Of course, when you dominate the ball, dominate the line of scrimmage on both sides of the ball, does help. Then the penalties come into play. Centennial would be ahead in this game, but would not have that kind of advantage over Garces.
Well, it's a surprise at 24-0 Centennial. We said earlier, I mentioned I'm surprised. I didn't think Centennial could do this to Garces. I thought both teams would be able to score on each other, even though they are good defensive teams. But they're different types of looks. Garces is a little more speed-oriented. They're more misdirection. I thought that would cause problems for Centennial's big front line. And then I thought, of course, Garces would have problems with the size of Centennial running straight at them. But I thought they would offset a little bit. But so far in this first half, Centennial has completely just dominated this game.
Garces has had trouble with the size of Centennial. They've had trouble with those cross plays. And they've shot the gaps as they've tried to use their quickness to stop some plays in the backfield. They've been burned.
Well, the first 3 possessions Centennial had, Garces did a good job. But then as you get into possession 6, 7, then you start to wear down a little bit. And that defense was out on the field too long because the offense wasn't converting on anything.
And we still have a second half to play. Hubbard with a short punt. Comes to Mulhofer, breaks one tackle, but he's running backwards and dropped at the 35-yard line. So ran back about 4 or 5 yards. Centennial showing great pursuit tonight. Excellent special teams by the Golden Hawks.
Yeah, well, everything's kicking tonight. I mean, all cylinders are
playing
firing.
a great game.
They are. They're just doing everything well. And again, we talk about what brings you into this game. Well, that tremendous performance against Bakersfield High School. You feel like you can play with anybody now. You know you can. So you come into this game feeling very good about yourselves, having a week to prepare. You're throwing the ball as well as you've ever thrown the football to mix in with your tremendous running game. And now your special teams, you've got a field goal to boot. So, I mean, everything's happening right tonight.
And a long field goal. A very impressive performance by Centennial. Jan Stubbe, the head coach, said, we were right on about half the things we said about his team last week. I said, that's good. That's great.
Well, we'll try to
I'm never right half the time.
We'll try to go for 51% this week.
Johns to throw it deep. Looking for Pearl. It is picked off by Centennial. Double coverage at the 25-yard line, 1st and 10 for Centennial.
That was
clock down to 10 seconds.
That was a very good read by Martinez of Centennial, but I thought Pearl could have come back to that ball a little bit. The ball was underthrown, and I thought he would have come back to it. It was a little underthrown, but I thought he should have come back. But that's how it's going for Garces in the first half tonight. I mean, it's just nothing's working so far.
Would you say that Rodney Wright can make that catch? He's great at coming back for a ball and leaping and out jumping the defensive backs.
I think that's one of the things they do. I seriously believe they throw the ball short so that he can come back. He'll try to outrun you and then come back. I mean, I know that's pretty far-fetched to say that, but a lot of teams try to do that. They'll throw the ball a little bit short.
They want to take advantage of his athletic ability.
Right, exactly. But I thought Pearl could have come back to the ball that time. But again, Martinez did a nice job for Centennial playing center field because they're playing a deep zone this late in the second quarter.
And played his zone very well. The ball back in Centennial's hands. 10 seconds to play in the first half. They lead at 24-0 over Garces. Draw play to Clark. Hit and dropped by Clint Tobias at the line of scrimmage. He's still pumping. Unfortunately, he fumbled the last time Garces had the ball. Otherwise, he might have had a chance for 307. After 2 quarters, a surprise from Sam Tobiasfield. It's Centennial 24, Garces nothing. You're watching the high school football game of the week exclusively on Time Warner Cable, Channel 16.
Excuse me, is that tuxedo from AJ's?
Let AJ's get you noticed. A Bakersfield tradition for over 25 years, specializing in Pierre Cardin, Christian Dior, Oscar de la Renta, and Calvin Klein. AJ's Tuxedo Junction, with 3 great locations to serve you.
Coffee in the morning, get you on your way. Or something cold any time of the day. Sounds real good, what do you say? It's easy, it's fast, we're on your way. Take a fast trip to the fast strip. Something to go and something to sip at the fast strip.
Take a fast trip today and pick up an ice-cold Super Guzzler or regular Guzzler, only at Fast Trip.
If Windows 95, Pentium 133, the Internet, and gigabytes have you all confused, then you should buy your computer at Arc Technology, your local computer connection with personal service for just the right equipment at the lowest prices and service after the sale. Check this fall special.
I'm Alex Rogers, owner of Arc Technology. Come and see for yourself why we have the warehouse stores beat, hands down, on price and service.
Don't you buy a computer until you check with Arc Technology, 3 blocks north of Costco at the Clock Tower.
And a score at halftime from Sam Tobias Field. Kind of a surprise. Centennial 24, Garces nothing. The Centennial Golden Hawks have dominated the game on both sides of the ball and have taken advantage of some critical mistakes and sloppy play by Garces to build this big lead.
Well, we're shocked. I mean, I'm shocked. I thought this was going to be a heck of a close game. We still got 2 quarters to play, but Garces better figure it out and figure it out in a hurry. Because if they keep giving the ball back to Centennial, it's going to get uglier.
And the Garces defense has been on the field the majority of the first half, and as you know, against BHS, just like Centennial, playing against a bigger team, that tends to wear you down, and Garces has had trouble in the second half against these big units. And right now they trail 24-0. They had a couple of big plays in the first half, and nevertheless one ended in a turnover, a fumble. The other big play they had was called back due to a clipping penalty. So really has been a lot of bright spots for the Garces offense in the first half. They just don't seem like they have the fire and the passion that you need to compete in a game of this magnitude.
Well, it's surprising with Garces, too, because coming into this game last year, they went to Centennial and beat them in a big game. It meant a lot.
They were pumped up for that game.
Exactly. And so I think coming into this game, I mean, this is a big game for both teams. You got to be ready to play. Lack of execution in the first half by Garces. Centennial doing everything and having everything go right for them, of course, was part of the reason that Garces is down 24-0. But I just don't think Garces played with a lot of emotion, and I don't think they executed very well. And in the second half, they're going to have their game breakers, their big players, make plays on offense and on defense, and they're going to have to hopefully get field position. If Centennial plays half the field on offense, this game's going to be over early.
Jason Mandelaris with an excellent first half for Centennial. He has improved by leaps and bounds over the past week. Ran a 2-point conversion pass to Echeverry for a touchdown. Jared Clark has a touchdown for Centennial. Mike Turman and company on defense have done a splendid job. They've cut down the Garces sweep plays running wide. They stuffed the Rams and they try to run up the middle. They put pressure on Drew Johns. What else can they do?
Well, they're just doing an outstanding job. They're defending everything Garces throws at them. Garces did have a few moments in the first half, late in the second quarter, where Bohofer kind of got going, but then they fumbled. They were inside Centennial's 20-yard line, and he's trying to, on the extra effort, and he fumbles. Can't fault him for that. But again, it's just execution. It's doing the little things. At 9-0 in this game, Garces had opportunities to keep the game at 9-0. They didn't do that. And so now they're paying the price down 24-0. Now they got to dig themselves not out of a hole, but out of the bottom of a swimming pool. It's going to be real tough.
Remember, they were down 9-0. They fumbled the kickoff, and then later on, the second of 2 bad snaps of Matt Pearl, the punter, as he tried to kick it away when it was on the ground and went out of bounds. That gave Centennial the ball at about the 20-yard line. So twice in this game, Centennial had the ball, 1st and 10, inside the Garces 20 and scored both times. So they have really cut down the length of the field besides dominating the game.
And plus, they got rid of that psychological monkey off their back. They're scoring in the red zone now.
Just blowing them out as the second half begins. Matt Pearl with a short kick for Garces to the 20-yard line. Up the middle for Centennial. That's a great open and tripped up. And Chris Branson had a chance to take it even farther.
You know, Branson and Moreno are really fun guys to watch play. They play both sides of the ball. Both of them will play the slot and the wide receiver position on offense. Defensively, they're the corner. Actually, they play corner and safety. They return kicks. They're really valuable players on the Centennial team.
And a penalty against Centennial. Most likely a clip or a hold as we begin the third quarter of play. 24-0 Golden Hawks.
Teaching your teenager to drive doesn't have to be like swimming with sharks. Let the professionals at Precision Driving School help. Our instructors have the expertise to teach all aspects of defensive driving that help our students gain the confidence and skills needed to pass their driving test the first time. Precision Driving School, we make driving with your teenager as relaxing as a day on the beach. Classes are forming now, so call or visit us today on the corner of 19th and Oak.
Ball the left hash mark for Garces. John's play action rolling to his right, looking for the end zone for Antone Giovanni. Great protection, goes wide, runs it himself, and steps out of bounds at the 20.
And actually, they ran the same pattern again, but that time Tobias was well covered that time. So Centennial made the adjustment.
Well, the Garces passing plays have taken so much time to develop tonight.
Well, they've used more rollout than what I've seen them in the past. But that, I think a lot of that too is because they know that they're going to have problems with the drop back because Centennial is so big and physical. But again, they haven't been able to get the ball downfield, and most of the time Johns has been running with people on his heels. So it's been tough for him tonight.
3rd and 12 for the Garces Rams. Ball on the right hash mark. They're in Centennial territory, down 24-0. John, straight drop back, heavy rush, and he will go down just like you said. This time he dropped straight back. The defense just overpowered their offensive line.
Well, Matt Kelly just blew right by 51 for Garces, and that is Nick Andrews. He blew right by him, and that's just a missed assignment. When you're in that situation, if your defense played so well, again, you got to go back to execution. It's a matter of staying with your blocks and executing.
Matt Pearl lining up for a long field goal attempt for Garces. This is from the 38-yard line, a 48-yard attempt. His kick is far enough. It is no good. Wide to the left. He definitely had the footwork.
Well, he had plenty of leg for that one. He hooked it just a little left. But not a bad possession for Garces, really. Defensively outstanding. Offensively kind of hurt themselves a little bit. But at least they moved the ball. And at least they're keeping Centennial in their own area of the field. They're not playing. Garces is not playing so far in the second half inside their 50. Centennial is playing inside their 50. And that's important because they want to make Centennial play the whole field the second half.
Drew Johns apparently has a cramp in his either right or left calf as he was down in front of us at the Garces bench. Just loosening up just a bit. 1st and 10 for Centennial. Mandelaris keeps the ball rolling to his right, looking downfield for Jackson. Throws to the short man, Havens. Ball is incomplete. Great coverage by Garces. Mohofer over there.
Mohofer doing it all on both sides of the field. That was a great play. And again, Mandelaris did a nice job of waiting for that to develop and really threw, you know, it had to be thrown right where he threw it, but it was just a better play by Mo.
He's showing a lot of patience tonight. He's really learned a lot in the last week.
You know, and he's taken, I think, you know, they've taken a lot of heat for the, you know, for the fact that they couldn't throw the ball. But I'm sure they felt like each week they were going to continue to get better and better and better. And they knew coming into the season that the strength of their team was going to be their run. And, you know, it looks like Centennial is just getting their group peaking at the right time for the important teams.
Yeah, the Southwest Assembly League. Stubby wanted to bring him along very slowly. Mandelaris, nice protection to the far side. The pass caught by Clark. One-on-one coverage, but he followed better than a DB for Garces. 1st down and 10 for Centennial.
Well, Mike Black had great coverage. He just didn't look back.
That's
the ball
right.
came right over his shoulder, and a great catch, great coverage, but just a better play.
Tremendous concentration by Clark coming out of the backfield. Almost had a chance to take it even longer than that.
And Mandelaris, did he throw that ball?
He's thrown beautifully tonight.
That ball was right on the money.
He's shown us quite a bit tonight. Andrew Stubbe, Jackson wide to the right for Centennial. They're at the Garces 48-yard line with a 24-0 lead. 7:30 to play in the third. Havens slot left in motion for the Golden Hawks. Mandelaris on the draw. to Echeverry, hit and dropped for a 2-yard loss by Garces.
Carvajal again. Carvajal, I'd say
he's done a great job.
He's playing well tonight. He's really getting after it.
The Carvajal, Tobias, Ross Lane have made a lot of tackles for Garces tonight.
Well, their linebackers are always busy. They get up and hit you and fill, and they pursue really well. And they seem to feed off each other. They play really well together. And in a game like this,
in there, a free safety again for Garces.
Well, in a game like this, your linebackers, you expect them to make a lot of tackles because Centennial's so big up front, and you've got to fill and make contact, and that's what the Garces linebackers have been doing tonight.
Havens in motion for Centennial, pitch back to Jared Clark. Crooked right, has an opening there. 5 yards, 10 to the 30, down the sidelines. Flag is down, and he is thrown down by Drew Johns at the 22-yard line. Flag back upfield about 7 or 8 yards.
They're going to call a hold, I think, offensive holding here on Sean Taylor. But if they do, I don't think it was a hold. I thought it was a great block coming back. And they got locked up. Yeah, they're going to call the hold. And that's a tough call. I'm not saying it's not the right call. It's just a tough call because you got 2 guys. You got the offensive receiver trying to come back to block, and they got locked up, and it looked like he might have had jersey, but I'm looking down on the play. The official's right there.
He's right there on the field.
I just thought Taylor made a great block on that play.
And you know the situation is a lot different on the field than it is up here.
Well, no doubt about it.
Remember we were down there?
Yeah, no doubt
How big they look? Holding against Centennial, they've had a couple of personal fouls in the 3rd quarter.
And that's the first time Clark has gotten outside really all night long.
He's got speed to burn. Speed to burn, as they say. Jared Clark, 6:37 to play in the 3rd. Garces with nothing, Centennial with 24. The Rams had a chance to score here in the 3rd, but they got inside the 20-yard line. They couldn't execute the proper plays, and the Centennial defense stuck it to them. The big sack on Drew Johns in 3rd. 2nd down for Centennial. Pitch back to Jared Clark. Nice cutback. Garces strings it out. Hit by Clint Tobias. And he doesn't get back to the line of scrimmage. Looks like Clark had a chance to dance his way for the 1st down. Tobias flies in there.
Well, Ross Lane made that whole play because from his defensive end spot, he turned that whole play in, got deep penetration, and Tobias, like somebody shot him out of a slingshot with his hands back and his head forward, just rocked him. I love to watch Tobias play.
It's amazing how some guys play the game. That's one guy plays it with passion and fire.
Yes, he does. Yes, he does.
And he gives it his whole body. 180 pounds.
Well, we were talking to some of the Garces people at halftime, and they were saying if we had, 11 guys like Tobias, it might be a different story.
3rd down and 3 for Centennial. Jason Mandelaire sprint out right, looking downfield. Wide open receiver. 1st down. Inside the 25-20. And he will go the distance. No, yes, they call it a touchdown for Centennial to number 20, Jared Bratcher. I thought maybe he was knocked out of bounds.
And it must have been a missed assignment because Nick Flores was 15 yards away from Bratcher on that play. He was wide open. Mandelaris delivered. It was a simple out pattern. He was wide open. Looked like a blown assignment. Touchdown Centennial.
Well, they had 2 receivers on that side. The other one went deep. He went out, and DB did not flow over from the coverage. Then he kind of slipped the tackle and showed his great speed.
It had to be a blown coverage because to be that wide open, even if you were in a zone, the safety would have been up on that play.
Centennial blew the coverage on the 3rd touchdown for BHS last week, remember?
Well, I don't know if it was a blown coverage. I think it was just right.
Well, I heard it was a missed assignment. No, I'm talking about the 3rd touchdown. Anyway, another touchdown for Centennial. They're showing that diversity we didn't think they had tonight. A lot of players are getting in on the action and showing that they can benefit this team offensively.
G-E-D. The Get Bus is the ride for me.
From there to here and here to there.
G-E-T goes everywhere.
What can you do for cleaner air?
Ride to work with time to spare.
Yeah, you ain't seen nothing yet.
Here's what we say.
Get on the Get Bus, Get Bus, get on. Get on the Get on the Get Bus, Get Bus, get on the Get on the Get Bus, Get Bus, get on.
And Centennial, their special teams has just played marvelously tonight.
Well, in Garces, any opportunities they've had, they've kind of let them dwindle away.
There haven't been too many.
Well, they had one of their first possession. They had field position. They didn't take advantage of it. Their defense did a nice job. And again, their defense has been out on the field most of the night. And so with that situation, they get tired, they get worn down, and a lot of Garces guys go both ways. So it's a lot tougher.
Clint Tobias with an opening, has a 1st down, stays on his feet, and more. Across the 50 to about the 43. Clint Tobias hasn't given up.
But see, that's the play. That's a big play for them. But think about their first possession. of the second half. Had they done something with that possession and scored, now they're moving the ball again. They've had good momentum their last 3 possessions. They just haven't finished it off.
They haven't been able to score. They really need a long run for a touchdown or a long pass play.
Well, we talked about that in the first half. Coming out of the first half into the second half, they need their big play guys to make plays. And you know Tobias is going to be there making plays.
He's made all kinds of plays, both sides of the ball.
And he's got surprising speed. He surprises me. I didn't think he was that fast.
You know, last year against Delano, I think he had 5 or 6 touchdowns in that one game, and 2 of the runs were 60-plus yards.
Yeah,
that was the first game where he really came out and became an offensive player.
Yeah, he can go. He can run. He can run the football.
And he likes to stick on defense. Matt Pearl wide to the left for Garces. Ball to the right hash mark. Mulhofer tries to cut back. Centennial strings him out, and he barely gets back to the line of scrimmage. They have been so tough to run on. The Centennial Golden Hawks, what a fantastic game they have played tonight.
They've been impossible to run on, with the exception of a few bright spots by Tobias up the middle, where they kind of looks like they've seen something there, but it's not consistent. They get one play and then they get nothing. And their passing tonight, as far as Garces is, I mean, it's been nothing. They haven't been able to throw the ball at all. And credit that front 5 of Centennial getting pressure on Johns all night long, and they've been chasing him down all night.
Well, they put great pressure on him. The DBs have covered the receivers very well. Anton Giovanni with a great move to the 40, 35, out of bounds to the 30-yard line. Nice run by Anton Giovanni.
And we were talking about that short passing game in the first half. Now we're starting to see it, kind of wondering where that was at. Anton Giovanni can make plays. He's averaging 20 yards a catch. He's their leading receiver. That's his first catch in this game. They've got to get the ball out to him, and I like that call. Throw the ball out to the open side of the field and let him make a play.
And he made a play as he eluded the DB and put his head down. Was tackled by 3 Golden Hawks. 1st and 10 for Garces. Ball on the left hash mark. 2 Garces players in motion. The penalty will probably be against the Garces Rams. The tight end and Mulhofer were both in motion at the same time.
And that was Carbajal playing both ends. Of course, he's a guard on offense and plays a linebacker position on defense. And that time, you could see him drop his head as he came up because he knew he'd gotten out of that stance, and that's frustrating.
But Garces needs a score here. 4 minutes to play in the 3rd quarter. Johns gives it up the middle, and there isn't much there against this Golden Hawk defense.
In the wing T offense, we've seen Garces last year. We saw them this year, even against Bakersfield High, much smoother. It seemed like things were going much smoother for them. And they did have some runs against Bakersfield High School, and we've seen them early in the season break and have huge games, like last week rushing for almost 400 yards. Tonight, we haven't seen that at all. They've looked good for 1 play, then they've looked bad for 2 or 3. And credit the Centennial defense because they disrupt everything that Garces has tried to do tonight so far.
Well, last week was the only game this year Garces has really run effectively. Johns to throw it, steps up. Now the coverage breaks down, and he is sacked. Going deep once again.
And credit Chris Branson out there covering Anton Giovanni. Nowhere to go.
And a little discussion between Johns and Anton Giovanni in front of the Garces bench.
Well, they've been missing each other all night, I think, and that's a sign of frustration. Maybe somebody didn't break the pattern off. Maybe they ran the wrong pattern. But Branson has been a great cover man tonight. You just saw him on offense just a short time ago, but he has done a wonderful job tonight. You know, that's another thing we haven't talked about defensively. We saw Foothill earlier in the season and their defense against West, and they've got some outstanding cover people.
They have a lot of speed.
Yes, they do.
Backfield. Johns getting away from the rush, looking downfield, puts it away to the 20-yard line, out of bounds. Inside the 20 goes Drew Johns. That has been his most effective weapon tonight, running with the ball, getting away from the rush.
Well, really, that's the only thing they've allowed him to do. He's had to make plays on his own. But getting back to talking about the defensive backs, we talked about kickers, a lot of outstanding athletes in different positions around the leagues. But we talked about kickers and, of course, quarterbacks. We talked about them, but DBs are outstanding. I really like Marino and Branson for Centennial. Of course, Foothill's DBs do an excellent job. They've got a lot of speed. Of course, Kelly at Bakersfield High School, they don't even throw his way or run. So,
yeah, he's a stud. He comes up, makes a lot of stops, and a great defender off the pass.
A lot of really good skill players on defense this year.
Clint Tobias up the middle, big opening. To about the 10, stays on his feet, driving for more yardage. Clint Tobias keeping it going for the Garces Rams.
But the problem is the clock's going too. They need big plays and to score and get a score and then get it back at Centennial tonight. The ball's bounced right back up to them. If they did make a mistake, they've had 2 fumbles, but they kept them both. So the way the game's going tonight, Garces needs some quick scores, even though this is their best drive of the night.
Garces inside the 10-yard line at the 8. It's first and goal for Garces, 2:25 to play. Timeout the Garces Rams.
And at this timeout, I get a chance to thank our sponsors, AJ Tuxedo Junction, ARC Technology, Fast Trip Food Stores, Total Body Chiropractic, Precision Driving School, and Golden Empire Transit District. Appreciate our sponsors. Couldn't do it without you. It's been a fun ride so far. We got many more games coming up. It's been a great season so far. Hope you're enjoying our broadcast. And continue to watch and get involved with what we're doing. Time Warner Cable's doing a great job of bringing high school football to you every week.
Don't you like that slow-mo?
I love it.
After the big plays?
But you know what? I just wish we had the telestrator, you know, so I could do that John Madden thing. You see the guy goes,
right here, boom right here, boom right there.
See, I wish I could do that, you know. Then he gets a hit right there. Yeah, he goes. But, you know, maybe next year. Maybe we'll put that in the budget for next year.
Yeah, okay. 2:25 to play in the third quarter. Garces knocking on the door, but they have to get in, and it's been tough to move the football against Centennial anywhere in the football field, especially inside the 20, inside the red zone. 31-0. Garces has to score down here.
Yeah, they've got to. They don't. I mean, it's at this point they need scores, and they need scores in a hurry.
Seems like when they have a chance to break a long one, somebody always comes up and makes the tackle. A potential 20-yard run becomes a 10-yard play. Drew Johns up the middle, and a gain inside the 5-yard line for Garces. Bullhofer almost broke that one into the end zone, so Garces getting close. 2-minute mark of the third quarter.
Well, the key thing is it looks like they're going to score here. What are you going to do defensively on your next possession? You've got to come up with a turnover or a big stop and get the ball right back, because if Centennial has an opportunity to start that drive, they're going to eat that clock up.
They certainly will, and Centennial has thrown the ball effectively tonight. The best they have this year. Second and goal for Garces. Drew Johns.
There he is.
On the keeper, cuts inside. He's into the end zone. It's a touchdown, Garces. You know, a lot of people, including me, thought he gave the ball to Tobias. Some of the people are saying, oh no, and he kept the ball. And he cut in and scored.
Well, I know the Garces fans are relieved. I mean, they thought they'd be seeing a lot more of that tonight, and I did too, honestly. But that's a big, big possession, obviously, for Garces tonight. They had to get into the end zone here. Now it's up to their defense to get some stops, see if they can get a few turnovers, because we still got a lot of time left. We got 1:46 left in this third quarter, and it's going to be up to that Garces defense to see if they can get stops.
But Drew Johns has been a very effective runner tonight for Garces. They've been pressuring him handily throughout this ball game as he's tried to throw. He's been under heavy duress going left to right, but he has made some big plays running. That was an excellent read by him.
The option's been effective for them tonight. I mean, they seem to have gotten Centennial kind of strung out a little bit, and their matchups are bad, and Drew Johns done a nice job
going for two, pitch back to Bullhofer, going for the flag, cuts back. He is stopped short. Centennial, the Golden Hawks, stop him short of the 2-point PAT, and it's 31-6.
And just as I say, Drew Johns making great reads on his pitch, Centennial comes up with a great stop.
Ran the same play, and the Golden Hawks strung it out very well. 31-6, 1:46 to play in the third quarter. As Garces finally gets on the board, that will give him some confidence. You never want to get shut out, but Garces tonight has to play 4 quarters of football.
Well, again, I just talked about what they've got to do. I mean, they can't allow Centennial to crank up that machine and get it rolling and eat up the clock.
Let's have a fumble on the kickoff.
Well, the way it's been going for Centennial tonight, if they fumble, it'll come right back up to them. It's like it's on a string.
I think that happened against Garces when they played BHS, and one of the games we did, where Dugas or Bennett fumbled the ball and it came right back up to them, and they almost ran for a first down.
Dugas is running full speed, the ball bounced right back up to him. So, you know, some nights it goes like that.
And so far this year for BHS, it has gone that way. Look at Garces, though. They've played some outstanding teams this year. BHS 4-0, Arvin 4-0. Now, San Joaquin Memorial's down just a bit, maybe Paraclete, but Centennial 2-2, playing a tough schedule. As you know, they have a lot of talent on their particular ball club.
Yeah,
and they would have to be considered the favorite in the Southwest Central League this year, the Golden Hawks.
Yeah, they're the heavy favorites. There's no doubt about that. But you look at Centennial's schedule coming up. They're playing Garces tonight. Then they play North, South, West, and Foothill. So that South game's going to be tough, and Foothill. And the North game, you never know. And Stockdale's shown that they can throw the ball. So Centennial playing a very, very tough schedule.
Centennial has back-to-back home games the next 2 weeks. They haven't been at Golden Hawk Stadium for a while. In fact, I think this is their 3rd consecutive road game. Playing in Visalia last week at BHS and tonight at Sam Tobias Field. Matt Pearl kicking off for Garces, booms it. Everett takes it out the 2-yard line to the 20. stays on his feet, pounds forward to about the 25. Doesn't run with a lot of speed, but with a lot of power. Cody Hebert.
Nick Flores bumped into him. I don't know if he tackled him, but he bumped into him.
Might as well get in his way. Hopefully he'll fall over you.
That's a tank running through there.
Yeah. Centennial reminds me of some of the players that San Joaquin Memorial had a few years ago when they beat Garces here in the playoff game. They had some huge backs. They had a guy who played fullback and linebacker that was 230. The other guy was about 225 and had a very quick quarterback that ran Garces crazy.
As the game wears on, that's where it becomes more important. That size becomes even a bigger factor. They wear you down.
You know, Garces runs about 220, 225 across the line. Centennial is 250 plus. Straight handoff to Echeverry. Clint Tobias and company making the tackle inside of 30 out about the 28. Tobias looking for the side for a particular player or a call. So second down and maybe 7 for Centennial. 1:26 to play in the third. The Golden Hawks 31, the Rams 6.
I think we got a new quarterback in there.
Jason Waugh.
Yeah, Jason Waugh, number 22. So we don't know if Daniel Harris is hurt or if they're just resting him for this possession late in the third quarter. We don't know.
Waugh played briefly last week against DHS for Centennial. Jason Waugh, quarterback. You have another running back. Ball straight up the middle. Clint Tobias makes a stop as usual. Andrew Stubbe getting the ball for...
showing his versatility. Wide receiver, running back.
Well, he's a tough kid.
Yeah, he is. Seeing a few different faces here for Centennial.
With 43 seconds to play in the third quarter. 31-6, Golden Hawks. Garces trying to come up with another big defensive stop here and get the ball back. Third down and 6 for the Golden Hawks. Jackson wide to the right. Echeverry and Stubbe in the backfield behind Jason Waugh. While the pitch back to Stubbe. Touchback. Nothing is there. Great tackle by the Garces Rams. And Matt Antongiovanni, fourth down, kicking time, punting time.
And this is the second unit, I'm assuming, for Centennial. And I don't know if they're feeling that comfortable or if they're just trying to rest them a little bit. I would be a little nervous if I was a coach. I'd still have my first team out there.
After 3 quarters from Sam Tobias Field, Centennial 31, Garces 6. You're watching the high school football game of the week exclusively on Time Warner Cable, Channel 16.
Excuse me, is that tuxedo from AJ's?
Let AJ's get you noticed. A Bakersfield tradition for over 25 years, specializing in Pierre Cardin, Christian Dior, Oscar de la Renta, and Calvin Klein. AJ's Tuxedo Junction, with 3 great locations to serve you.
If you've had an accident and are suffering from any of these symptoms, listen to your body and call us today. I'm Dr. Rudy Herrera of Mind and Body Chiropractic. Call us at 837-1505 in Bakersfield or in Delano at 721-1506.
Okay, we begin a fourth quarter play from Sam Tobias Field. Centennial with a fourth down situation, 4th and 8. Hebert standing back at his 10-yard line. Garces with Antongiovanni and Mulhofer at their 45, so Garces has a chance to get very good field position down 31-6. Centennial used some of their backup players on the last possession. Hebert with a punt, and a beautiful one. Booms it out there. Mulhofer at the 29, to the 30, 35, and Centennial, they have all night long covering the punt very well. They've done that well with the kickoffs. No run back.
Well, they've done every phase of the game tonight well. They've really done a great job with their special teams tonight. They've been flying around and hitting people, haven't allowed the Garces big play guys to get off and make any plays. And I know they worked on that during the week. Those are the things you got to be concerned with. You can't allow Tobias or the Mo-Man to make big runs on you, and they haven't allowed that tonight.
Watching Hebert line up on defense, the Rover. The pass wobbled out to the far side to Matt Pearl. Gain of about 7 yards for Garces, just in front of us, as they're moving left to right in green and gold. Second down and short for the Rams.
Their last possession, that's what they did. They were very effective with that, moving the ball down the field. Something I thought we might see them do early in the game. They are now doing it. It's effective. And we're under 12 minutes here, but we still have some football to play.
Well, you know, you have to score one touchdown before you can score 2 or 3. So instead of trying to get it all in one play, Garces is trying to reach in front of Centennial's defense. As the safety's playing back just a bit. John, straight drop back. It's passed to the left side of Anton Giovanni. He was moving right. The pass was back to the left. John's really fired it.
Well, they haven't really been on.
They haven't clicked.
They just haven't been in sync all night long. I mean, they've missed each other a couple of times, and I think it's just not there tonight.
And he was wide open.
He was wide open.
That's just sort of like a button hook pattern. You have to be able to hit a guy 15, 20 yards downfield when he's wide open, because Centennial has covered the receivers very well. Third down play for Garces. Quick pass, it's tipped. Incomplete. As he tried to throw it out to Matt Pearl, somebody got their hand up for Centennial. As the pass fluttered to the other side. In fact, I think they've tipped about 2 or 3 passes tonight, because some of John's passes had been of the wobble variety.
Well, Aaron Barron, number 99, came barreling in at 6 foot 235.
They've been barreling quite a bit tonight.
Put a hit on Johns. I mean, they have not allowed him to get into a rhythm the entire night. From the very first series, they've been chasing him around. They've been getting pressure on him, and really they've disrupted this Garces offense from the very first possession.
Fun time for Garces, and Matt Pearl standing at his own 30-yard line. Gets a beauty. Spiral. Turns over to Branson. At the 15, lose a tackler at 20-25. Hit and dropped by Garces, but a nice return by Chris Branson once again. We've shown his ability on offense, on defense, and returning punches.
Doing it all.
Valuable player for Centennial. They have so many like that.
He's doing it all. Well, at this point, Garces just got to hope for a turnover, get field position, and get in the end zone quickly, because Centennial is just going to grind it out.
Jason Wall remains in their quarterback for Centennial. With that 31-6 lead, 11-1 to play in the ball game. So Jan Stubbe confident in his team's lead. I think he has backups at both wide receiver positions, at tailback and also at fullback. And they played the last series. Andrew Stubbe off the right side, hit and drop as he gets back to the line of scrimmage.
Tobias again.
When he hits guys, they drop immediately.
Tobias is in double figures in tackling tonight, as he is every night, doing it all. Like we said, I mean, defensively, there's not a better player out there on that field.
You can't play any harder than he has. He's ran the ball effectively tonight for Garces, just gives it all, 120%.
It's very difficult when you play a team like Centennial to get down and then try to come back, especially as disruptive as their defense has been on your offense and as big as they are. I mean, Garces just never got off to a good start tonight, and Centennial never allowed them or gave them any opportunity to get back into this game.
Higdon on Jackson in front of us, ball on the right hash mark. Ball gives it straight up the middle. I don't know if there's a fumble there. As they get back up to the line of scrimmage, it'll be third down for Centennial.
And they recovered it again.
They recover every fumble they commit.
It is their night, definitely.
And when Garces fumbles, Centennial recovers.
It is their night. There's no doubt about that.
They have been an opportunistic team. Besides the fact they have dominated both lines, the offensive and defensive lines tonight, the Centennial Golden Hawks, 24-0 at the half, 31-6 here with 9:40 to play in the game. And this has been Centennial's type of ball game. They have passed more than we thought they would. They like it right here. They like to run the ball and use up the clock. Draw play. Andrew Stubbe has an opening. First down. Nice cutback. Goes to his left, goes to his right. First down inside Garces territory to 47. So Andrew Stubbe making a fine run for Centennial.
He might have scored if he wouldn't have tripped over his own lineman.
Well, he was a little excited.
Or a wide receiver out there trying to block. If he would have cut that to the outside, he would have went all the way.
Got a little excited when he had a chance to break it long, but nevertheless a fine run by him, as he'll gain confidence from that. And Centennial moves the chains.
Well, they've been doing that all night long. More with the pass than they have with the run.
Very impressive. Receivers to each side for the Golden Hawks. First and 10 in Garces territory. The Rams down 31-6, need to come up with a TO, a turnover. Jason Wall rolling to his left. Well, he reverses field, now looking downfield. Throws it out there. It is caught by Centennial, and we have a touchdown for the Golden Hawks. The wide receiver for Centennial, number 41, is simply out-jumped. Leaf Nunnally out-jumped the Garces DB.
Nunnally made a heck of a play and then jumped right over Nick Flores, number 11. I thought Flores was going to intercept it, and he just jumped out. That's the way it's gone all night for Garces, and that's the way it's gone all night for Centennial. It seems like everything that Centennial has done tonight has worked. They've made the bigger plays, and Garces has not been able to come up with big plays on either side of the ball. It's been a tough night for Garces.
That was a great play by the offensive receiver, but in that situation, the DB really has to knock the ball down. And he basically was out-fought for the ball by the WR. And they have scored. It was a long pass with a short pass, the run, you name it.
Well, Nutley did a heck of a job that time coming back to the ball and just taking it away from Flores, because Flores in the better position, played the ball well, just didn't make the play.
All right. The PAT blocked by the Garces Rams. 37-6 in favor of Centennial with 8:53 to play. This has been a shocker to yours truly. Not the fact that Centennial's winning, but in the manner they have dominated this game and the plays they have made and the plays that Garces could not make tonight.
Well, I think they did two things in this game. Number one, they came into this game and emotionally took Garces and the fans out of the game. Took them completely out of the game. And number two, they just got up in their face like they did against Bakersfield, played smash mouth.
37-6 Centennial, 8:53 to play in a ball game. You're watching the high school football game of the week exclusively on Time Warner Cable, Channel 16.
If Windows 95, Pentium 133, the internet and gigabytes have you all confused, then you should buy your computer at ARC Technology, your local computer connection with personal service for just the right equipment at the lowest prices and service after the sale. Check this fall special. The hot new 6-speed CD-ROM drive, just $98. Call ARC for low prices on all RAM upgrades, including laptops and notebooks. And ARC will upgrade all Packard Bells. Don't you buy a computer until you check with ARC Technology, 3 blocks north of Costco at the Clock Tower.
Teaching your teenager to drive doesn't have to be like swimming with sharks. Let the professionals at Precision Driving School help. Our instructors have the expertise to teach all aspects of defensive driving that help our students gain the confidence and skills needed to pass their driving test the first time. Precision Driving School, we make driving with your teenager as relaxing as a day on the beach. Classes are forming now, so call or visit us today on the corner of 19th and Oak.
And they want more with 5:35 to play.
And there's a possibility they're going to get it. It's getting ugly for Garces as we go along here.
Well, we knew that the offensive line of Centennial pounding the Garces defense for 4 quarters. Even though Garces played hard in the second half, it's tough to play and you're physically exhausted. And Centennial with the first down and goal. Same ball carrier, powers his way close to the goal line. And the Golden Hawks knocking down the guard once again, and they want to pound it through.
Makes it very tough for that Garces defense when the offense is ineffective. With only scoring 1 touchdown tonight, it just didn't allow for the type of game Garces needed to be competitive and keep the ball in certain areas on the field. They didn't do that tonight. And really, you know, we'll go back to it again, and I know we'll talk about this at the end of the game, but it's just their passing game tonight, Centennial's passing game has just been outstanding, and that's been the difference in the game.
And it in turn has helped to open up Centennial's running game. Second and goal for Centennial. There's a touchdown close to the goal line. They're not calling it a touchdown for the Golden Hawks. As they're trying to get over the 40-point plateau here in this ball game against Garces. 37-6, 4:20 to play in the game. Garces bringing people in and out, as is Jan Stubbe of Centennial. A big victory for the Golden Hawks as they get ready for the Southwest Yosemite League. Their first year in the league, and they want to win it all. Well, now there's a chance they and BHS may meet somewhere down the future.
Well, that would be an interesting game, wouldn't it? Definitely a lot more motivation for Bakersfield High School, because I don't think they played anywhere near as well as Centennial did.
Third and goal for Centennial. Waugh QB for the Golden Hawks, long count.
All right.
Given to Andrew Stubbe, hit in the backfield and drop. And we will have 4th and goal for Centennial.
Carbajal
excellent
again.
Penetration and tackle by Carbajal, wrapped him up. Showing a lot of pride there.
No, he's played a heck of a game tonight. He and Tobias have been making a lot of tackles in there, and I know they're tired. It took him a long time to get up after that tackle.
It has been a long game for them.
And we want to remind you, if you'd like to get a tape of tonight's game, you can call us or leave a message with my secretary at the office at 322-1941. And they're only $15.95. And we know if you're a Centennial fan, this would definitely be a game that you want to get. So give us a call at 322-1941 if you'd like to get a tape of tonight's game.
High formation for the Golden Hawks. Jason Waugh, the keeper, hit and dropped at the line of scrimmage. And Garces does not let him get in. The Rams will take over. Great defensive stance by Garces, showing a lot of pride, a lot of character. 3 minutes to play in a ball game.
You know, just Thursday of this week, I came over to watch my cousin play. He plays on the freshman team for Centennial. No bias. And Centennial had 70 kids suited up for their frost-off team. So, you know, we talked about how the difference in school size. They had 70 kids. And by the way, my cousin played a heck of a game. Picked off a pass, caught 3 passes. Tony Banks is his name, by the way. Going to be an up-and-coming player. Just a freshman.
Now, do they have a freshman team also at these schools? Or they just have a frost-off team?
Well, they have their frost-off team, their JV team, and then their varsity. And I'm not sure quite how they're doing it nowadays.
Go ahead,
As Tobias hammers ahead. I'm not sure exactly if it's strictly freshmen or if they do play sophomores down there. But I know when I was in high school, which wasn't that long ago, it was freshmen and sophomores on the frost-off team. And then if you were good enough, you could go up to the JV team. Of course, freshmen can't play on the varsity.
I understand that Garces has some pretty good freshmen on their team. I don't know if they were talking about the frost-off team or the freshman team here.
Yes, they do.
Garces.
As a matter of fact, it was a great game because Garces beat Centennial's frost-off 27-26.
I heard that Garces beat BHS's frost-off team.
Yes, they did.
So they must have some good athletes in that frost-off class at Garces. The ball inside the 5-yard line at 2:25 to play. Centennial 37, Garces 6. The Rams trying to get out of their own territory. They added bleachers, as you can see, behind the Garces team for about 2,500 extra people tonight. And they have taken care of the crowd this evening. It has been as close as people thought. Bobby Sharp is going down to the field to get some post-game interviews. We talked to Jan Stubbe and maybe some of the players at Centennial who played a marvelous game tonight as they get ready for the Southwest Assembly League. Centennial playing North High next week, and South the following week, both games at Golden Hawk Stadium. And they have played 3 consecutive games on the road, Centennial. They played Redwood at Visalia in Visalia, played at Griffith Field at BHS last week, and tonight they have been at Sam Tobias Field at Garces. So even though this is their first victory in the 3 road games, they have grown a lot this year, playing a tough schedule. Centennial moves to 3-2 on the year. Garces drops to 2-3. Inside handoff to about the 15-yard line for Garces. Garces Rams will host Ridgeview next week in their homecoming game, and also a contest that kicks off the South Sequoia League. Garces plays 5 games in the league. Centennial plays 4 games in the Southwest Assembly League. Their teams are north and south at home. They also play West and Stockdale. And their one remaining non-league game is against Foothill, who is undefeated and among the top 10 ranked teams in the Central Section. So Centennial doesn't bypass any tough teams on their schedule. And in fact, neither does Garces. Garces is still the favorite in the SSL this year, though. I think they have Tehachapi at home and also Ridgeview and Wasco at home. They play at Shafter and at Taft to close out the regular season. So both teams with 5 games left in the regular season. And then possible playoff action for either one. Garces in the Sequoia Division and Centennial in the Yosemite Division. Ross Lane with a couple of carries for Garces, and thanks to some penalties against Centennial. The Garces Rams moving it out to their 35-yard line. And it's 2nd down for Garces, 2nd and 5. Mulhofer out of the game for the Garces Rams. Playing quarterback. Now for Garces, Matt Antongiovanni. Matt is a junior, so he's slated to be the QB next season for Garces. Quick up to the ball, 1:08 to play. The ball given. 1st down for Garces. Across the 40 to about the 42-yard line. Ryan Keel running hard for the Garces Rams. He's a 158-pound junior for Garces. Both teams using some of their backup players here in the last part of this ball game, as we are under 1 minute, 37-6 Centennial. Garces with the snap. A nice cutback. I think that's Smith. Stays on his feet, and I believe he has a 1st down for Garces. He's a senior. Saw more playing time last year as a running back. That's his 1st carry tonight, I think. For Smith. 1st and 10 for Garces, as they exchange more players into their lineup. Wide to the right for Garces, Joel Griffin. Matt Antongiovanni calling signals. The clock down at 22 seconds. He's looking for a play and he calls timeout. Timeout Garces at 37-6 Centennial. Garces dropping to 2 wins and 3 losses. Centennial at 3-2, a big victory for Jan Stubbe. A tough loss for John Finucci. But it doesn't really hurt Finucci's team because their main goal every year is to win the South Sequoia League and to advance to the Sequoia Division playoffs. They won't play Yosemite Division teams anymore this year. So Garces has been able to compete favorably well with teams within their own division. 0-3 against the Yosemite Division. That includes BHS, 42-0, Arvin 35-23, and tonight against Centennial. But they have defeated San Joaquin Memorial, which could be a possible opponent in the playoffs, and they beat Paraclete, which is out of the division. Manantone Giovanni with the play action rolling to his right, fires it incomplete, trying to hit his tight end in Centennial territory. Adam Miller, pass just thrown short, 15 seconds left. Garces will have 1 or 2 more plays tonight. A great victory for the Centennial Golden Hawks. And a tough loss for Garces, but Centennial with just too many weapons for Garces tonight. Too much size and strength up front, both on the offensive and defensive line. Great coverage by their DBs. The pass right in the hands of Miller, and he drops it at the Centennial 31, a little too anxious there. And I'll tell you, a great game by Jason Mandelaris. A fine game plan by Centennial offensively. The execution was impeccable by Mandelaris, the quarterback for Centennial, and the entire offense. Jared Clark did not have a big game. I mean, he ran effectively when he had the ball, but they used the likes of Branson, Hubbard. They passed the ball so effectively tonight, it definitely surprised us. Centennial usually doesn't run the ball more than 9 or 10 times in a game. Doesn't pass the ball, and tonight they passed the ball that many times in the first half. The clock winding down. That does it. From Sam Tobias Field on the Garces High campus. The final score, Centennial 37, Garces 6. Centennial improved to 3-2 on the year. They break that 2-game losing streak. Garces drops to 2-3. Garces opens South Sequoia League play next week for their homecoming battle against Ridgeview. Centennial will host North High in a Southwest Assembly game. Final score, Centennial 37, Garces 6. For Bobby Sharp, I'm Mark Heffernan. Good night. And you've been watching the High School Football Game of the Week exclusively on Time Warner Cable, Channel 16.
If you've had an accident and are suffering from any of these symptoms, listen to your body and call us today. I'm Dr. Rudy Herrera of Mind and Body Chiropractic. Call us at 837-1505 in Bakersfield or in Delano at 721-1506.
Tuxedo from AJ's?
Let AJ's get you noticed. A Bakersfield tradition for over 25 years, specializing in Pierre Cardin, Christian Dior, Oscar de la Renta, and Calvin Klein. AJ's Tuxedo Junction with 3 great locations to serve you.
Coffee in the morning, get you on your way. Or something cold any time of the day. Sounds real good, what do you say? It's easy, it's fast, we're on your way. Take a fast trip to the fast trip. Something to go and something to sip at the fast trip.
Take a fast trip today and pick up an ice-cold super guzzler or regular guzzler, only at Fast Trip.
Get on the get. Geo, go. Get ready, set. For a whole month of price that lasts, all you gotta do is get a flash pass.
The Get Bus is so easy to do.
I catch up on my reading too.
Yeah, you ain't seen nothing yet.
Here's what we say.
Get on the get bus, get bus, get on. Get on the get on the get bus, get bus, get on. Get on the get bus, get bus, get on.
I'm here with Jared Clark from Centennial after Centennial's big win over Garces. And Jared, one of the things that was surprising tonight, maybe not surprising to you guys, is how well you threw the ball.
Yeah, we threw great. We always knew we could throw. We have a lot of receivers that could do a great job, so we don't just have to run the ball. We can throw it too.
Well, coming into the game, you're leading the county in rushing and in carries. Do you ever get a little bit tired out there? I mean, coming into tonight's game, you had 109 carries. You're almost double anybody else in the county. I know it's important for you guys to establish the run, but going back to the pass, if you throw the ball that effectively, it makes your job a lot easier.
Yeah, it does. It enables me to run easier because defenses don't key as much. We spread the ball out all around the field, which defenses can't key on anything.
Tonight you got a little bit of a rest, and a few other guys got in there late in the game, and Coach showing some confidence in that second unit. That must be good for morale.
Yeah, it is. It's good for our team. Everybody works hard, and everybody deserves to get in, so that's good to see.
Tonight, I thought you were the difference in the game. Watched it, did the game last week against Bakersfield High School. You guys did not throw the ball as effectively as I know you wanted to. It seemed like whatever you did this week worked because you were, I believe your stats were 5 of 9, 119 yards and 2 touchdowns, and you looked very comfortable tonight.
Well, I appreciate that. You know, I think the credit's got to go to the line because, you know, all quarterbacks say that, but they stepped it up tonight. Gabe, Abernathy, Shelton, I mean, you got to give them credit. Seelig, don't want to leave anyone out. Kitch, they did a good job, and we showed our speed at the wideout position. Bratcher did a heck of a job tonight, and we knew we needed to step it up and prove something tonight, and we tried that.
Coming off the BHS game, playing with a lot of confidence. You guys played so well for 3 quarters, and then a couple of big plays by a great athlete. Coming into this game, were you guys very confident that you could come in here and do this kind of thing to a very good Garces team?
We wanted to, and we thought we could. You know, this was all about payback. You know what happened last year, and we thought we could come in their house and do what they did to us, and we wanted to prove that, and we did tonight. But our goal is to, you know, we step into league, and we needed this momentum going into league next week.
Well, that was my next question. Going into conference play, you guys have got to be the favorites. I know there's going to be some tough games coming up. You guys have played a really tough schedule. That's definitely got to help you when you get into the meat of your schedule in conference.
Right, you know, we just want to take it 1 week at a time, and I think next week's North Eye, and that's going to be a big deal. You know, the boundaries, whatever, the media, it's going to be a big game, and we need that win, and hopefully we can carry it out throughout league and into the playoffs.
Congratulations, Jason.
Thank you very much.
For Jason Mandelaris, I'm Bobby Sharp at Tobias Field for Time Warner Cable Prep Game of the Week.
Just when you thought you saw it all. It's Friday Football Extra with me, Steve Talbot, and Tom Helmer. Join us every Friday during the Team 17 News at 11. We cover high school football like a run. The hits, the Friday Football feature, and you'll see them the same night of the game on Friday Football Extra. Why wait till Sunday or Monday for the results you can get on Friday night? Friday Football Extra. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the weekly highlight show brought to you by Time Warner. All the high school football highlights from last Friday night. Some great games, too. But before we get to those, a quick reminder that Tom Helmer and yours truly, Steve Talbot, bring you the Friday Football Extra show every Friday night about 11:15 on Channel 17. All the latest highlights and scores, so join us for that one. Now, let's get to the highlights ahead. The games that happened just this past weekend, there were some great ones. How well does Bakersfield football stack up against Southern California's big boys? Well, Capistrano Valley dropped in on the Drillers Friday night, and Nate Lewis promptly dropped 2 touchdown passes in Rodney Wright's lap. Capistrano Valley was sent home to await the arrival of the Swallows. BHS winning big, 31-14. At Foothill, the undefeated Trojans got a scare when Stockdale's Matt Martin bulled in from the 4 to give the Mustangs a 7-0 lead. But one play after the kickoff, the Trojans put the ball and the game in the hands of their main man, Gerald Irvin, and he didn't let him down, racing 70 yards to tie up the game. And Foothill went on to win 17-7. A close ball game at South. The Rebels had cut undefeated Arvin's lead to 21-14 second half. But South forgot to catch the license plate number of the Ferrari who roared by them on the kickoff. Seth Cunningham guilty of speeding 95 yards to put the game out of reach. Arvin 28, South 20. At Memorial Stadium, East High changed the lyrics to that old Simon and Garfunkel standard. On Friday night, it was "Here's to You, Mr. Robinson." Delano couldn't stop Brian Robinson near the goal line. 3 touchdowns, East 34, Delano 6. They billed it as a football game at West High, but nope. This was Highland's version of Desert Storm. 5 times the Scots Jeff Dover fired a scud Westway. 5 times he scored a direct hit. This one covering 59 yards to Ramon Blackman. Highlands 61, West 7. Sometimes too much is made of revenge. Not as far as Centennial was concerned. Garces beat him at the Nest last year, and this time at Tobias Field, Jason Mandelaris beat the Rams to the punch. Right on target to Jared Bratcher, one of 2 TD passes by Mandelaris. Centennial 37, Garces 6. Ridgeview got its first win just 2 weeks ago. North still looking for its. Game tied 14-14 second quarter. Tommy Hernandez gets the call for the Stars, and Ridgeview seeing stars. North gets its first win of the season over stubborn Ridgeview, 27-20. Wasco at home hadn't won since week 1. Tigers go to work quickly on Lindsay. Ryan Hightower plowing up 2 yards for a 7-0 lead. But Lindsay catches Wasco guessing wrong. The reverse comes back the other way to Sergio Sanchez. And that proves to be the difference in a heartbreaking 14-13 loss for Wasco. Shafter Generals had their dancing shoes on, entertaining Corcoran, but apparently some of the troops had deserted as Corcoran's Kevin Jackson spotted Jimmy Whitfield unguarded. 35 yards in the touch, Corcoran 35, Shafter 7. On to the Battle of the Winless. Community Christian hosting McFarland at Centennial. Justin Holman found a small hole in the Eagles' defense as McFarland clawed CCHS 47-0 for the Cougars' first win of the season. And that's a look at the Time Warner Highlight Football Show for this week. Don't forget, Tom Helmer and yours truly, Steve Talbot, will have the Friday Football Extra Show for you. Friday night, coming up at 11:15 on Channel 17. We'll see you then, and then we'll see you back here again next Tuesday. Good night, everybody.